He was maybe I don't know if he was a teenager. 2021. I
Wait,
see he
wait.
went
So
live.
what happened? What happened with the 4 words?
No, I ain't gonna say what the 4 words are because it's too. It's too.
Oh,
No, it's
right.
trust me.
It's a whole different show.
No, it's sit down in his name. If you say
Sit
it the
down,
right
nigga.
way, everybody know what you're talking about. And I think he might have been. He
Yep.
was either late teens or maybe even early 20s. And my grandma told him to sit down more than once, and he paid for it. Trust me.
Yeah, nah, fuck all that. I'm pro ass whooping to the death, nigga. My son,
Yep.
I want Pootie Tang, nigga. You remember Pootie Tang? Where this nigga
Yep.
thought about doing some shit wrong and the belt came and whooped his ass, nigga. That's what I want my son to feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we should steal this candy, nigga. And as soon as he go to reach the candy, the belt comes in and whoops his imaginary ass. That's the level of fear that I want from my son. You know what I'm saying? That's a great level of fear. Now I don't want my son
How
to
you
be
gonna start
afraid
the
of
show
me.
off like this?
Because you know what?
Man,
I
that's the
think
next
this
show.
shit's funny. And it's
You
It's,
already
based
went
on.
live. Go ahead.
yeah,
But yeah,
he
no,
said shows how he want.
yeah, I think this shit's funny, nigga. Hey, I want my
Right.
son to be afraid of me that way. I don't want my son to be afraid of me to think that he can't tell me anything, that he can't
Right.
come in the house and breathe, anything like that. No, that's abuse, right? But when my son knows he's doing
Right.
something that is against my wishes, which is only the right things for him, right? Then he should be afraid of and knowing what the consequences are. That I mean, that's just reasonable to me, in my
Right.
opinion.
My stance is, as long as you're doing it out of love, it shouldn't be an issue. You know.
Nigga, Roger beat
Yep.
other people's kids.
That's the next show.
Roger
What are you
beat
talking
other
about?
people's
What are
kids.
you talking about? I would never say something like that on there. What are you talking
Nigga,
about?
hell no.
I
I
know,
remember.
Donnie. Donnie, that's the next show, man.
Wait a minute, hold on. But
Don't
since we
don't give
here, nigga,
nobody no clue.
this shit is funny as hell. What you talk about? You beat a child's ass on the train or some shit one day?
Man, all I was doing was being a friendly neighbor out there into the world. That's all I was doing. I don't know what you're talking. I don't hit anybody. I'm a saint over here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nigga, that's funny as fuck.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
I try to help the youth. That's all. I just try to help the youth.
so let me run back the conversation, right? So the topic of the combo of the show is the Makai Bryant situation, right? And um I'm gonna try to stay back a little bit just so I can play devil's advocate in the conversation because I feel like this is a conversation that's bigger than me, bigger than my platform, but it's something that needs to be talked about. Makai Bryant, if you don't know, she was 15, right?
Hmm.
15-year-old
16.
girl, 16. Okay,
16.
I thought she was old, younger, but she was 16. So either way, little girl, allegedly, other little girls come to the house to start a fight. Fight breaks out, shenanigans going left and right. Police show up. What we can see from the camera is that the police officer shows up, starts talking to a girl who's in pink. The girl in pink then sits back against the cop car. And you know what? You have to forgive me because I'm not at home. I don't have my camera resources to put the actual video up. But the girl in pink sits down, sits back, leans on the car. And while he's talking to her, and this is all in the span of maybe 8 seconds, um, the little girl who was shot, Makai Bryant, another little girl, at least we assume it's a little girl. I don't have her age. And what looks like to be the stepfather, he's a grown ass man. Whoever it was, he was a grown ass man. They come barreling out around in front of the police officer. Altercation happens. Little girl hits the ground. Um, the grown ass man kicks the little girl. Makai turns around and proceeds to lunge and stab at the little girl that the police officer was talking to. Now, this is an 8 second time frame. In my opinion, this was too short of a time frame to really react and have an understanding of what's going on. What he did see was a person lunging with a knife at another person. So he shot her, I believe, 4 times to her death. She did hit the ground. She did fall. Um, that was pretty much the end of this little girl's story, and it is sad. Nobody is saying that fuck that little girl or anything like that. But in my opinion, I think the cop did the right thing. So we're gonna have that conversation tonight. We're gonna go over the angles, go over your perspective, and kind of run from there. Anybody want to have a take on the conversation off top and jump in?
You know what? I'll say this real quick. If somebody's about to stab me, I don't care who you are. I don't care how old they are. I don't care if it's a 5-year-old girl. Shoot them. Period. In the story. When it come to me, shoot whoever. That's simple.
So you like bling blow, get it over with.
Bro, they finna stab me. Drop whatever you doing.
You said
Shoot
me.
them. Yeah, if it's me, stop whatever you doing and shoot them.
And so you feel like it was justified. The shooting was justified. Okay.
If it's me, kill
Wow.
whoever's
Roger,
necessary.
you crazy, Roger.
Uh,
If
uh,
it's me, kill whoever's necessary.
Dev,
Kill whoever necessary. Okay, we get
how
it,
you
Ike.
feel about it?
We get it.
How you feel about it? Let's
So,
get it out.
so I watched the video. I saw the screenshot. Whatever. Okay. So apparently, those people were trying to jump her, or they did jump her. Okay. Now it all stems from. Let's not forget she lives in a group home. They're saying that all those girls they know each other. Whatever. Okay. So, like you said, the cop did get the call that somebody was waving a knife. It was her.
What
So it just
was
so happens
so
when he
there were
shows
two
up,
calls put in. But let me ask you this: were the
they
other
said
little
she made
girl?
one, right?
No. They haven't identified the caller, so they don't know if it was her or
Okay.
somebody else.
They're saying
They
that
said it was
Micaiah
two
made the
calls that were
call.
made. Yeah, somebody said that she made the call,
Okay.
but there was apparently two phone calls made. The people haven't been identified, quote unquote, right?
Right.
But let me ask you this: because I
Right.
haven't seen this, was there any indication that the other girls that were involved in that fight lived at that group home, or were these girls who showed up after the
So
fact?
there's apparently two of the girls did live in that group home with her, and they had a misunderstanding over chores, which does happen in group home because I did that kind of job for 2 years. So I
Right,
know
right,
a
right,
house
right.
full of girls, we all got issues. Okay, but that's not the point. So the cop showing up, I get it. He's seen her waving the knife. It is his job to protect everyone, even if one is the aggressor and the other one is just a civilian. He still has to protect everyone. My problem is the amount of shots. Now, let's use logic. Cops are trained to shoot in this mass. I get it. It's where the fat is. Okay, I got it. But I don't think that young lady needed 4 shots. One shot would have knocked her down. 4 shots is an overkill. Okay, I've shot one of them cop guns. What was it? A 9, 4 or 5,
It,
whatever it was. She
it's
didn't.
likely a 9 millimeter.
Okay, so I've shot with a 9 millimeter. It packs a lot of power. One shot would have done the trick. Okay. Now I'm not saying he's wrong because she did have the knife and that still shot. That's a big girl. She was about to destroy the girl in the peak. That one stab, I know that. But in my heart, I just feel like if it was Amber and Becky, he would have used a taser. That's what I
So
feel in my heart, and I'm sticking with it.
so you don't feel like him shooting the little girl was wrong. You feel like the issue was the amount of times he actually shot the little girl. You're
Yes, I
saying
honestly
he
think
didn't need
one
to shoot.
shot would have done the trick. I don't care what
Okay.
nobody says to me because in that situation, even if the cop was scared, one shot would have knocked that girl down and maybe she would have had a chance at survival. He shot her 4 times. So
Mm.
I don't think she needed the additional 3 shots. And I don't care what nobody says. Debate me if you want. And then when people say, oh, he should have shot her in the leg, she could die that way too if he hit the right artery, right? So I'm not saying he's wrong. He had to protect the girl in the pink. But she did not deserve 4 shots. And let's not forget, if anybody did their research on Columbus, Ohio, there's been a mass amount of shooting, a mass amount of civil suits on cops with excessive force on black unarmed people. So in that area, it has been crazy before Makai was shot. They think to beat their ass first and then suffer the consequences. That's just how it is in that area. So let's not forget that in that area, there's a lot of force that the cops have brought on black unarmed people. So that kind of adds to the pot. So they're not just marching just because he shot and killed this one young lady. It's because of all the civil suits that are still pending on a lot of these officers who are still working today. Okay. So all I'm saying is in my book, she was aggressive. If she would have stayed her ass in the house, she would have never been in that predicament. But again, it's a
Right.
group home. She's in that group home for a reason. She's bad. Okay. So I'm not saying that she's an innocent victim. I'm saying she didn't deserve 3 additional shots. And I don't care what anybody tells me. All she had was a knife. One shot. This girl's not a transformer. She wouldn't have got up and started doing a cabbage patch. One shot would have brought her down. Those nines are very powerful, and that's my take on it.
I don't know what the particular branch of police office has their, I guess, standard for force is, right? But when I think of a cop shooting, I think of deadly force, right? Deadly meaning good night. Um, so at 4 shots, I to be honest with you, had it been me, I probably would have. She'd have got 6 fucking around with me because I shoot to kill. Like if you come fucking with me, mine, or if I have to actually pull out my pistol, there, it's a situation of dead men tell no tales. Granted, we have video cameras and all this stuff in the era we are in. But if I have to pull out my gun, I'm not doing it to wing you. I'm not doing it to slightly clip you and graze you in the movies where they shoot the gun or the knife out of somebody's hand. No, no, no. I'm putting you down. So I understand the dynamic where you say one shot may have done it, but let me ask you this. Let's say he tases the girl, or let's say he only gave her one shot. This is also a person that is mid knife stabbing. What if he only gave that one shot, or he tased her, and that didn't prevent her from stabbing the little girl, and that little girl died? Would we have been in a situation to where you would have blamed the cop for not taking the appropriate measures to stop this girl from stabbing her?
Well, honestly, I can't answer that because we would never know. I've seen tasers. I've been tasered. It brings you down. I don't care if you're 500 pounds or 5 pounds.
Hold on, maybe
A
maybe
taser
maybe we have an
is very
issue
powerful.
on the microphone end with
Very
you.
powerful.
You started sounding like
Hold
Mr.
on.
Roboto. Hold on.
Can you
Um,
hear me now?
hold on. Let me. Roger
I've
is
been
it
hearing
me?
her fine. I've been hearing her fine.
All right. Let me hop out. Maybe it's my issue. Y'all go ahead.
He got that. He got that Metro PCS. I need you to fix it.
Yep. Talking about how he's gonna shoot something, he can't even
All
get
right.
his
Right.
internet right.
I can
Right.
hear it back. Hold on now. Listen, Roger of all people can't be talking like that. Roger, the only nigga in
Roger, have you
America
ever been
still
tasered?
using Virgin Mobile, nigga.
uh, I don't remember being tasered. No.
Okay, because so
I've
years
been
ago,
told.
I did want to work as a detention officer. We had to be tasered. That is the worst feeling in the world, and they did it at low speed, low frequency. It hurt. Like I could have peed myself. Like, it's powerful. You feel me? So what I'm
I
saying is, we would
this
never
thing said
know
I
if the
could pee
taser would have
myself.
worked because he didn't use it.
I
But
so
if you
I've
go
been
on
tasered.
YouTube and you type in taser, you'll see it brings down the biggest people in the world. They start to act right. I've seen guys with a knife. As soon as they taser him, he dropped the knife and started shaking. Right? It could bring down anybody. I'm just saying we would never know because he did not use it. And
All right.
here's the thing: they're not just marching for one thing. It's because I've seen videos of white people coming at cops with a knife, and they will use their billy club before they get the gun. This is a 16-year-old black girl. Okay, so what I'm saying is I've seen Sean King have posted maybe 10 different videos that happened recently where a white male or a female was acting a fool and they had a weapon and the cops used a taser. There was a guy who actually stabbed a cop and then took him hostage and they used the fucking taser. So you can't tell me that tasers don't work if cops are using them first against white people opposed to black. We would never know because they don't use them on us. They use guns.
Um.
In this case, she was armed, but in other cases, they're not. So come on, bro. Come on.
So let me play devil's advocate because I've been tased. I know that when you are tased, and at a certain point, you have to. Uh, I had some white friends, so we had some fun with some tasers at certain points. I know that if you want to complete a task and you were driven on that task, you are able to do certain things. Depending on the voltage, you can't go past a certain voltage and just be moving around willy nilly. However, in that same breath, there are people who are capable of moving on high voltage tasers, and you've seen the video footage where niggas have been hit with a taser, and they look at the taser and
Drugs,
pull the taser out.
drugs,
No, no, there's
drugs,
people. There are
drugs,
people who are
opiates.
sober.
Most of them are high on life, bro.
No, there's people who are
Okay. All
sober
right. I'm
who
not
have
gonna
done it.
debate you
There's
on that,
big.
but you know more. Mm-hmm.
Remember the dude at McDonald's. Remember the fat dude at McDonald's? Nigga was high on food. Remember that? He pulled the taser out. And they kept tasing his ass, and he was walking around. There was a dude in the airport. The dude in the airport ended up fucking up the police, and all these white people jumped on top of him. there's situations where tasers don't exactly work
Did
the
they
way.
shoot him? Did they
Yeah,
shoot him?
they hit him with the taser.
But
Did they
you know
shoot
what?
these people when the taser didn't work?
Oh
Yes
no,
or
no,
no? No, they didn't,
no,
right? Okay. So what you're
no,
saying is irrelevant, bro. It's irrelevant.
no, because
It's irrelevant.
you're trying to place the situation of somebody mid lunge of a knife stabbing and into a person that is maybe 20 feet away from anybody else holding a knife. That's a different scenario. Mid lunge
Did I
as
say
opposed
did
to
I say he was
momentum
wrong?
movement. No, no, no. But I'm just saying mid lunge as opposed to holding a knife and not being able or capable of threatening somebody is a big difference.
You know what? I'm already messed up because right at the beginning of this, uh, she asked me, "Has I have I been tased?" And I'm trying to figure out why is she under the impression that I conduct myself in a manner that somebody, that somebody needs to tase
I
me.
I've been tased. I haven't. I've been tased.
It's not hard to buy one, Roger.
Are you saying someone should tase me? Is that what you're saying now?
No, what I'm saying is, I asked you that because you could have one day in your life wanted to be, a cop. I don't know. I'm just saying when I got tased, I wanted to be a detention officer. It wasn't good. That
No,
was my
no,
last
no.
day.
Yeah.
I get
Okay,
it.
I didn't come back.
Oh,
You
you didn't
totally
go back.
explain. You totally explain why
No,
you
I
had
was
been
done.
tased. You did explain why you had been tased, but you just asked me randomly and then left it alone as if I'm conducting myself an activity where people need to tase me. That's all I'm saying. I
No,
noticed that,
I'm
but
saying
it's
that because
okay.
okay, Roger. When I no, but look, when I bought a taser, which you can
I'm
get
joking with you.
easy,
I'm
I've
joking
had
with you.
guys. I'm just saying some guys like the thrill. I don't know. I've tased guys before. They want to know what it felt like. So I'm just saying, don't mean they did nothing wrong. It's just, all I'm saying is in this instance, he was not wrong. I just felt like he didn't need that amount of shots. Now, somebody said aggression versus what? Fear. When cops become cops, they're put in these exact scenarios. Again, there's no excuse. I wanted to be a detention officer. So, of course, they made scenarios where I was about to get jumped or I was about to get hurt. We're trained to know how to overcome that type of fear. If you don't know how to overcome fear, your scary ass should not be a cop. I don't give a damn who you are. When you are a cop, you're trained to deal with these certain type of situations. That's why you're a cop. So if he was scared and that's why he shot 4 times, he should not be a cop. Just say that you just unleashed the gun and it just went off 4 times. But I don't want to hear that shit that he was scared. He's a cop. You shouldn't be a cop if you have fear. Period. I would
Uh,
never be a cop if I'm
it,
scared.
was somebody saying that this cop was scared? Because I didn't hear that. I never
No,
heard
no,
this
no.
cop was
I
scared.
said that's not what I said, bro. I said that the person said something about fear
I'm sorry.
versus
Okay.
aggression. That was in the comments. I saw it in the comments. So I'm saying if he was fearful, he should not be a cop. Cops should never be scared. Now it's okay to be on your toes, but being a cop, you cannot have any like you're scared. That you shouldn't do this kind of job because you're gonna be put in these scenarios where it's not safe. You chose to do that job. Like I told you, when they tasered me, that was my last day. I knew it wasn't for me. Okay. So what I'm saying is, I would have never said I'm gonna still do this job because I want to get the check. I got out. I got the hell out, and I'm glad I did. So what I'm saying is, there's no excuse for a cop to be scared of a 16-year-old. I'm just saying we got to be are scared of
Let me say
a
this.
black man. If you're
Let me
scared,
say
your
this.
scary ass should
I
be
don't want to
pushing
be a dick.
papers.
I don't want to be a bad guy. But if you saw that chick from the back, would you have thought she was 16?
So you think when he arrived, he didn't know that she was a kid? You think that he thought she was this big baby D, a 40-year-old woman? You could
Does it
tell
I
she was a
matter?
mean,
little girl.
the way she bum rushed that
She's this
motherfucking
big.
girl. I, yeah, but just big don't run for everybody. That shit. I wouldn't have thought she was 16. Now looking at her face and sitting with her in the picture that they show, sure. But you walking out in the
You
street and you see that motherfucker just from
you
her
know,
body alone, you like that's a 35-year-old woman with 7 kids.
I,
So as a man, you would be scared.
I don't think this
You're
is
a
a
you're
situation.
you're a cop that has authority, and you're scared.
Again, I don't think he was scared. I was never afraid. I wouldn't have been afraid. I just don't know that she's 16. That's a big bitch.
I would have
I
shot
don't
her
think
once.
I don't
I'm
think
just
her
saying.
age mattered based on what was going on. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't think her age mattered. She was about to stab somebody. You're a cop. You either gonna let her stab somebody or you're gonna stop her from stabbing somebody.
Right. You know, that little girl was bigger than me in my fighting prime. So I fought
I
at
mean,
185 pounds. She had some weight on me. Like, what you want?
the, but again, the size matter on this one. She's about to stab someone, or she's not going to stab someone, and you get to make the decision. What decision are you going to make as a police officer? You're going to shoot.
Shoot her
I
once.
get that. Now, I get what Daphne's saying that maybe he didn't have to shoot so many times. That can be definitely be argued. But I don't think as a cop you're supposed to let her shoot. I mean, you're supposed to let her stab somebody in front of you. I don't think a cop's
No,
supposed to
I
do
didn't
that.
say that. I said
No, no, no. I'm not
no.
accusing you.
A
I'm
cop is
not
not.
accusing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not accusing you. I'm saying you do give up a
I hear
good
you,
debate.
Roger.
You make a good debate to say he maybe didn't have to shoot
No,
so many
I'm with
times.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've had
But
I've had people get mad at me for not using my platform to conform to everyone saying that he did wrong. He actually didn't do wrong. And I can't sit here and say that he was wrong for protecting another black girl, like Donnie said. If she would have got the stab off and he tased her and she stabbed her again, then they'll say, well, do your effing job. So it's a lose-lose. All
Right.
I'm saying is she didn't need the additional 3 shots. I've shot with a 9. Those are powerful guns. The kickback for me is crazy. So I know in my heart that if
Oh, you
I
so
need to shoot,
little.
and shut up. What I'm saying is, in that situation, I don't think she needed 4 shots. Even two would have brought her down, maybe. I really
I
wouldn't know.
think
But I just feel
I
like 4 is
think
a lot.
let me say this as a disclaimer, right? Based on what we know from that story, it doesn't sound like that little girl was in the wrong per se. And had the police never arrived and she stabbed that little girl, I'd have said, well, shit, them little bitches was fucking with her. She handled her business. She did what she was supposed to. But as an adult
Right,
who grew up through grade school, through elementary, you know what I'm saying? Through elementary, through junior
right,
high school, high school.
right,
When you got in the fights on the playground, whenever you was doing something wrong and an adult, a teacher, a person of authority showed up, what happened? You niggas dispersed. You niggas knew, hey, listen, let me chill out. I'm gonna get
right,
your ass.
right,
You did this shit in front of the police. This is why I really just don't have sympathy for the little girl. But as far as it goes, if the cop wasn't there and the little girl got poked up, well, hey, listen, you fuck with the wrong one.
you know what? I give her a little bit of sympathy due to the fact that she's a dead girl to not even make it to your 18th birthday and not have a understanding about
mm,
life. I can feel bad for her on that note. Um, when I actually covered this yesterday, as you know, and my thing was just the situational awareness was just so off on the people. When the cops come, you supposed to just stop. Everybody who doing something wrong, we supposed to stop. Not because we gon'
right,
the beef has ended or whatever the case is. We're not supposed to be doing stuff in front of the police officer. And for me to see black people that
right.
don't understand, we stop because the cops don't pull it up. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Like, everybody's so off for that. You gonna stab somebody in front of the police? Like, no, you don't
Yeah,
attempt a murder in front of the
yeah.
police.
She was brave, very
Yeah,
true.
but my thing is that
And
that's
and
old
and
enough to
also
know.
let's not forget there were adults there too. There were adults
What
there too. So I hold them
Looking
it
just as
was
accountable as
an
raggedy.
well.
adult who was
They
kicking
didn't
another
say, "Hey, the
18
cop is
year old
right there.
out.
Put the knife down." Right.
Yeah,
So what I'm
yeah.
saying is everybody should have been held accountable for her death because they could have stopped it before it got that far. They were watching it like we all watch fights as kids. Hey, I'm gonna get my. But as an adult, you're held to a different standard. These kids should be in the group home cleaning up. Again, if she used that knife, that means that she's been aggressive before. You're not just gonna grab a knife for the first time and go out there swinging, right? So she's in that group home for a reason. And what makes me
Right.
mad is how people are forgetting she's in the group home. She's a troubled youth. She's bad. I worked at group homes. These girls were bad as hell. I wanted to beat all of them, but I couldn't. So
So
all
the
I'm saying is
adults
the
were
type of group home she was in. Go ahead, hon.
no. I'm just saying. So
Go ahead.
the adults that were there were not parents. They were just people who work at the group home.
Correct.
Uh,
That's what I was told, and I believe that because I believe that. And now you got her
so
aunt saying she was a good girl, but when we see how far that knife was going back, if he would have let it connect it, she would have been in more trouble, right? She would have got her. So the
I
girl in
mean,
the pink didn't look nowhere near the same size as her. And I'm not saying because she was big that makes her a bully, but she was bigger than the girl in the pink. She
hey,
was. That knife swing probably would have killed that girl. Let's keep it real. So I understand him shooting her. I just feel like the 3 extra shots weren't needed. Now, if he shot her once and she was getting ready to swing again, it's rare I see somebody do that still when you hit them in
So
the
you
center
feel like the
mass.
knife swing would have ended the other little girl.
Yeah, if he would, like you said, if he would have let her finish and connect, man, because she was a big girl. I mean, I didn't even know she was that big. But
Yeah,
at the
she
same
wasn't.
time,
You knew she was big. You seen the damn pictures. You didn't think she was 120
no,
pounds.
before the pictures I was seeing was from the neck up, bro. I didn't see her body yet. I didn't see the video yet. I just saw
Her neck
the neck
had
up
40
picture.
pounds
So
on it.
I really didn't know.
Wait, does that
Okay,
matter?
come on now.
Does
Come on
does
now,
that
bro.
matter? No,
Ah,
I'm serious. Does that matter? Does it make a difference how big a person is who's finna stab me? If you see somebody about to stab me, you shoot. That I
Right.
mean, I don't even think that's even. If somebody's about to stab y'all, wouldn't you want them to get shot?
I would. I
Just keeping
mean,
it
that
real.
I would want you to put him down. You ain't got to kill him, but I mean, it's a different situation as being a cop and shooting a
kill that
civilian.
nigga.
I get that. But if it's my life, I am gonna unload the clip. I get that. All I'm saying is, I don't think she needed 4 shots. I think one would have done it. I
No,
mean,
no,
one can
I think
paralyze
you're right
somebody.
on that. I think the 4 shots we can there's a good room to have an argument on how many times he should have shot. I'm just saying the size of the person don't matter, the age of the person don't matter.
It
They're
don't.
about to
It
stab
don't.
me, shoot them. It's
You,
it. It's
you like, fuck it. If they got a knife in their hand and they swinging at me, let them motherfuckers go meet God.
well, no, I ain't even saying you got to
And see,
kill
this
them.
all comes
If
back
they
to
don't die, yeah, if they don't die, it's fine. But don't let them stab me. No, shoot them. You got a gun, do it.
no. I get it, and I get it. At the end of the day, all those girls were not innocent. They were all bad. And if you think about it, yeah, she was getting jumped, but it all stemmed from her going outside. The thing is, if people show up to my house, okay, I'm not going outside with a knife. I'm asking for trouble, right? I would save my ass in the house, but she's at a group home. And I couldn't control every single girl in a group home when I worked. There was 10 girls. And some of them were as big as her. So at the end of the day, they're going to do what the hell they want to do. That's why they're in the group home. And now her aunt is coming out. Oh, where was the aunt when she was in the fucking group home? You didn't want to take her, right? So clearly you're aiding in everybody's opinion that she was bad. She was bad. She was bad. She probably needed a couple whoopings growing up. Didn't get those, right? So all I'm saying is she's not innocent. She really was the aggressor in that picture. All I kept saying was a still shot. It doesn't help. And I don't care what the aunt says. Where was the aunt when she was in the group home? So it stems back from her being brought up. Somebody put her there, the parents, right? So they didn't care. So I don't want to hear shit about, oh, she was a good kid and here's her hair video. So she was still in the group home. Y'all couldn't deal with her. Like I
Maybe
said,
she
if
was
it was
in the
my
group
child, she
home
wouldn't
via
have had no
bad
knife because I would have been
circumstances.
whooping her.
No, honestly, I think the aunt should have shut up. The fact that there's a aunt available
Exactly.
to make a statement, you just make the child
Exactly.
look worse
Thank
off.
you.
You know what I'm saying? You can't because the first question I'm gonna ask is if she got an aunt, why is she at a group home? Because when you just said that, that's the first thing that hit my mind. She got an aunt. Well, why is she in a group home?
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Because
bad.
the
She
aunt
was
didn't
a
want to
she.
deal. Because she probably pulled a knife out on the aunt. The aunt probably said, do them dishes. And she probably put out a butcher knife. Make me. Okay, there. She can't live
A
here.
Don named Maestro said, "Who raised her and them other girls?"
Group home will let you eat what you want to eat. That's probably why she got to that size. What I'm saying
So
is, if most parents will drop their kid off at a group home when they cannot deal with them anymore. So when you hear about the aunt saying she was so innocent and my baby, well, where were you at when she was living in a group home? So like I said, she was only 16. So what I'm saying is nobody could deal with her because she was probably bad. We have to call it what it is. If she would have stayed her ass inside the house and didn't have a knife, she would be alive today. That's just how it goes. I mean, I just think the 3 extra shots was a lot. But again, she had a knife. If somebody pulled a knife out on me, blow their head off. I get it. I'm not thinking about I want them to survive in that situation. I want to live, right? I ain't got no knife.
What
So
y'all
the cop shot.
y'all
so
keep going, but blow the head off. I was never implying somebody's head needs to be blown off.
I
I'm just
did.
saying shoot them. That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
the asshole, nigga. You shoot to that motherfucker can't breathe. Uh, but let me say this. So I did see reports of they were talking about the people in the group home. The lady who runs that group home apparently has a history of abuse with these kids. One of the articles I saw was that one of her former
Here we
group
go.
home kids comes into the home and abuses the new group home kids, and the house is riddled with abuse situations. So, you know, in addition to the parents failing this little girl, the group home, the lady who ran it anyway, failed
Failed
this
it
little
too.
girl. This is the situation. So, I mean, what do y'all feel about that? Because this is a black woman who
Okay,
ran this group home and ran this little
that's
girl's
that.
life into
I
the
feel like that's an excuse because hold on. That I feel like that's an excuse because if she was old enough to get that knife and start being baby D on Friday and getting ready to stab someone, then she would know to go to the right authority and say, "Hey, we're being abused." In the same way, if she was able to pick up a knife, she could have also picked up the phone and made a call and said, "Hey, we're being abused." In group homes, there's ways that they can connect with someone and say, "Hey, we're being abused," and then they do like they have somebody come and live in the home that's really not uh, um like through the state, but it's actually somebody to shop and see what's going on in this home. We have people
What they
do
got
that
like
all the time.
a 22,
So
21 Jump Street orphan?
yeah,
Is that what
so
you're talking about?
they'll say here, they'll say, "Hey, Daphne, here's a 15-year-old girl who mom left her in a crack house. You know, she ain't got nowhere to live, and really, she's with the state." They want to see how that group home's being ran. That's how they were able to break down a lot of these bad group homes. So again, if she was in an abusive situation, she could have made the call and said, "Hey, we're being abused," just like she went and got the knife. So no, that's just an excuse. I don't want to hear that. I don't. I don't want to hear it.
Rael, feel free to pop
She was
on.
making
But
TikTok videos. She seemed like life was good. She didn't seem like she
Well,
was abused.
well, my thoughts about the group home is that was the best advertisement to make sure that you never send your kid there. It seemed like everybody who works at this group home should basically be fired. They should just start over.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because
Facts.
it did I mean, and this could just be that one bad moment that everything just culminated. But this probably got to be the worst group home in America. You know, I don't see how kids are getting help. And for a girl to be there and to be 16 years old, because I thought she was 15, but to be 16 years old at this group home to call the cops, then be dumb enough to try to go stab somebody in front of them, who's teaching these kids anything? You know, at
Well, it clearly
16,
ain't the mom or the aunt.
I
I
mean,
mean, they say, "Well,
every
where's her
adult
parents?"
involved.
I mean, Roger, look, man. I mean, I grew up without my mother too, and that didn't mean I had to be crazy in school. I mean, there's really no excuse. I mean, it all stems from who raised this girl. I blame the aunt because clearly the
What
mom
she,
didn't come out. It was the aunt holding that sad picture.
well, she ain't raised
So
yet.
I
She's only
blame the
16.
aunt.
She's only 16. So my thing is she's not raised yet. But at 16 years old, somebody who's an adult should have gave her the understanding. You don't call the police to where there's a conflict, then you run out in front of the police and try to stab somebody. If she don't have that much common sense, every
Right.
adult involved has failed her. That's
hmm
all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe they taught her to be aggressive and stand up for yourself and put yourself in danger. I mean, I don't think she had any real guidance. I don't even think the group home gave her, I think they let them do what they want. Because, like I said, when I worked in group home, you had those homes where they got to do whatever they want, smoke, have sex. They did whatever they want in them homes. And in reality, that wasn't allowed. But they didn't care. They just wanted to get the check. So it all depends on who was, like you said, that woman running that group home didn't do a good job. So she should go to jail too. A lot of them. Like you said, just
Well,
go ahead and just knock the house down, start over,
I,
rebuild
well,
it, everything.
I'm, I'm not gonna necessarily say she should go to jail, but I mean, I'm
Oh,
not.
jail.
Well, I mean, before I even go into whether she should go to jail or not, to me, it's clear that this home is failing the children that live there. You literally got a dead kid over the training you give to these children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever you
Right.
teaching these children, she dead. So I don't think y'all know what y'all doing. And then, like I said, that adult male who I thought was maybe the father of the child or something like that. But if this was, what if he was another employee at the group home? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That nigga was an adult there, so it don't even matter if he was an employee at the group home. The way he looked, that
He was
nigga looked like
there.
he was 30s, 40s, right?
oh,
So
no,
whether
no,
he
no,
worked
wait,
Yep.
there or he didn't work
well,
there,
well,
he was
no,
still
wait a minute. What I'm saying is, if he worked there, that's a reflection on the group home, which is further reason why everybody who works
Right.
at this particular group home needs to be fired. Everybody. The
yeah.
culture of the group home is bad for children. That's if he works there too. The culture of the group home is bad for children.
Ryle said he
So
had
Roger,
his mom's
do you blame the
daughter.
parents?
Hold on. Yeah, Ryo said he had his mom's daughter pull a butcher knife on him, and he was gonna crack her forehead open with a weight scale. Had my cousin not got to her first,
What?
and would have felt no remorse for ending her life. Uh, uh, well,
Mm, damn.
well, damn. So yeah, but to be honest with
Okay,
you, if
OJ.
somebody does pull a knife on you, if somebody pulls a weapon on you, you do have the right to defend yourself. And again, this is why I said that little girl, had the police not been there, done nothing wrong. However, she did this shit in front of the police. Now her life is over. So, in my opinion, is the police there, do what you got to do, or the police aren't there, do what you got to do. The police are there. Hey, nigga, let's have this conversation. Do whatever this situation is. We'll do this when these motherfuckers is gone. Again, just to recap. Go ahead and ask Roger the question he was asking.
So Roger, do you think that this is a reflection of a single mother, or do you think how do you? Because for instance, her mom's name is Paula, and her mom said my daughter was a sweet, innocent girl on the honor roll. Okay, that made it worse. Again, she's just like her sister, the aunt. You're talking about these great things, and your daughter did extremely wrong, and she wasn't at home on the honor roll. She was at a group home, right? So do you think Paula is to blame? Single mother. They have no mention of the father. No mention of the father, y'all. Come on now. So women
Well,
get mad at me when I talk about this. Women think they can do it all. And look what Paula did. She's a sweet, innocent little girl who would never harm anyone. She was all about peace. Then you see her swinging that knife. Come on, y'all. We got to
yeah,
start being
she's
honest with ourselves. She was bad, so I couldn't handle her. So I threw her ass in a group home. She was doing too much. Let's just be honest. My daughter made a bad mistake. I blame Paula, and I blame the aunt. Maybe if the dad was in her life, she would have known not to do that shit. You don't call the cops and then set yourself up to be shot, right?
well,
Maybe the dad
yeah,
could have
that,
taught her that. Paula didn't.
well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to spread some blame around on this one because I'm always gonna blame the guardian first. So whoever the guardian is, I'm gonna throw that blame at them. And the guardian in this
Okay.
particular point is a group home, if that's where she was at, a group home. So yeah, now I do need an explanation on why she was in the group home instead of being with her mother. So her mother looks terrible. And my thing is, life isn't fair. If this is your child and your child couldn't even make it to adulthood, I mean, I'm pretty confident this is a failure on your part. Now, I'm not saying if a child couldn't make it to adulthood over like some type of freak accident or they just haven't been in the wrong places, wrong time, shot by a straight bullet. I ain't talking about something like that. But this child died due
Right.
to actions she was involved in. She called the police, then tried to
Actually,
stab somebody in front of the police. So therefore, whoever's parenting her is failing. I mean, failing with a gold star. Like you can't find a way to fail better than this. This
Yep.
this is like the gold standard for
mhm.
failure.
Can I say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Neridian, welcome to the channel.
How you been, man? It's been a while. It's been a
Oh yeah.
while. Yeah, I did see the shooting, and from what I saw, and a friend of mine's a cop, and I have a lot of friends that are police officers, and they talk about this thing that they have. It's called the use of force continuum. And what I saw and what they saw was a threat holding a knife, ready to stab. Like he shot her in mid stab to the point where the the knife was near that girl's neck. She was swinging from Mississippi, almost aiming for the girl's neck, the girl in the pink. And what I saw was when he pulled that trigger, I always look at it this way. What happened if he didn't pull the trigger and she was able to get that girl in the neck? Imagine if that was imagine if that was a machete. Imagine if that was a machete instead of a butcher knife. I would be upset
I
with the
mean,
officer for not taking the shot.
do you have to imagine anything other than the knife that it is? It's a knife.
Because people always say, well, oh, it's just a knife. He didn't have to shoot it. He could have tased her. He's 10 feet away. There's no way that taser, even if it's long enough, it's not gonna. Even if she gets caught with the probes, those probes normally don't stick. Even if you're far away. Now, if you're close, it's great. Even if you had a non-lethal weapon, that'd have been great. But it happened so fast. The father was there, and he was kicking a girl in the face.
Well, we're not sure if that was a father because now we're hearing that this happened at a group home.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
this is a group home, so he could not have been the father. He could
Well,
have been
either
the
that
defender
or the foster father.
or the
I'm not
foster
sure,
father
but
or whatever the
he
case was.
was
Yeah.
he was participating in the fight.
Right, like a wretched ass nigga.
Well,
Yeah.
why would a foster father be
Wow.
there at a group home to participate with a fight? It seems a little bit more likely this probably was an employee, and with the culture of this group home, he was probably a bad employee, like a bunch of employees. Because uh, keep in mind, the cops were called because these employees didn't get this stuff settled down.
Yeah, that's true. And what I saw was, and then how about this? How about this? Imagine that was a knife. That wasn't a knife. Imagine if that was a pistol that she had in her hand, and he didn't pull the trigger, and
Well,
she pulled the trigger.
why do you have to imagine it's something else, man? It's a knife.
No,
Knives are
no. What I'm
deadly.
saying is, what I saw was a deadly weapon. See,
That's what I'm saying. So why do we
people were
have to
arguing
imagine
with
it's
me.
something? We
People
don't
were
have to.
imagining. People
This
were
is what I'm
arguing with
saying.
me about the weapon. I'm like, okay,
This is
well
what I'm
then,
saying.
imagine if that was your daughter. Imagine if that was your daughter or your
Look,
son getting
look,
ready to get stabbed by that same female. You'd want that cop to do something.
no, nerding. No, no, we're not arguing about the knife. The knife is a deadly weapon. We've accepted that already. We don't need to imagine it's something else.
But
Knives
in the
kill
black
people.
community, they don't imagine that. They imagine that the cops should just grab her like Batman and rip a yard off her head. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. The use of force continuum doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. And her actions caused her death. I mean, do I want to see a 16-year-old get killed? No. But if you're a 16-year-old and you over there beating up people and pulling out knives and get ready to stab them in front of the police, you get what's coming to you.
Well, I mean, now to me, now you're being harsh because this number one, this is a girl. She is not an adult. Number two, if blame is to go to anybody, it needs to go to the adults that were involved. They let
Yeah,
a situation.
there's
They let
blame
a
to go
situ.
around.
Hold
There's a lot
on.
of blame to go
Hold
around.
on. Hold on.
But
Hold on. They let a situation get out of control the way it did because she called the cops. These girls don't know how to conduct themselves in front of cops. That's obvious. And if that was an employee, if the guy was an employee, you're trying to participate rather than be a good example. The
he should be in jail
I'm not
for
gonna blame.
participating in the fight.
I'm not gonna blame the children at all. This was a situation where adults are supposed to take control of the situation. That's what
And they
adults are
failed to do
for.
so.
Right. That's what adults are for. We know kids do stupid stuff. Everybody has been a child already before you became an adult. Kids do stupid stuff. Like my father used to tell me all the time, that's their job. It's their job to be idiots. We're the adults. We're supposed to stop them from being so good at their job. Now,
So let me say
now
this.
I'm gonna actually make the assumption now that the lady who was standing out front was probably staff, and the guy who was standing out front was probably staff. I don't believe it was foster parents or anything like that if this was a group home. Because why
Yeah,
would her
but what
foster
I
parents be
Okay,
standing
so
there
I got some
if it was a group
clarification.
home?
go ahead.
Hold on. Hold on, Roger. I got some clarification. It was a foster home. It was.
Yeah,
And I'm
not
reading on
not
this
every
and check
foster
this
home
out.
has
So
employees. Go ahead.
Donnie, right. But Donnie, you did mention this earlier, but again, the woman that took in these kids, it sounds like might have been money motivated, right? They didn't care how the house was
Yeah.
being run. She was getting a check. I agree with that. But nobody mentioned how there were 7 911 calls to that same house from November 2020 to now. Kids running away, bullets flying everywhere. So that house was already chaotic, and nobody held the foster mother accountable for every time that 911 call was made. I mean, kids were
Wait,
actually
run that
disappearing
back.
and coming back.
Run that back.
Okay,
How
there were
many 911 calls? Okay.
seven. There were seven 911
12.
calls. One of them,
I thought it was
the mother
12.
called. No, sir. No, sir. According to this article, since November 2020, I'm not talking about before that, sir. November 2020 to now, there were seven 911 calls made. The first one was made November 8th. The foster mom called because the 13-year-old ran away. Then the 13-year-old came back. So the house was already chaotic. Okay. Another call was made December the 6th of 2020. She called because a 10-year-old foster son was knocking things off of the Christmas tree and yelling. Come on, you guys. The house had no authority. Again, she called the cops on December the 9th, the next day, because the 10-year-old was acting a fool. So, this woman had no control of this house. Kids were
So
running away,
so this
acting
was
a
a
fool,
woman.
and then now
Basically, what you're saying, just to sum it up, this is a woman who had a
each one of these
foster
calls is
home.
saying the foster mother called 911 because
Right.
of
So
this.
she had a foster home with a bunch of kids that she was getting paid for
Correct.
that she could not
Correct.
control. Really doesn't even
Correct.
sound like she really gave a fuck to try and control.
There you go.
And,
There you go. Money
and
motivated. Money
because of
motivated.
that, a little girl is dead now. Okay,
I mean,
go
they
ahead.
didn't do nothing when the 13-year-old girl ran away. They didn't do nothing when the 10-year-old boy kept getting calls for a 10-year-old boy. Think about this. The foster mom called on the 10-year-old for knocking down a Christmas tree. There was no order in that house. It was just the foster mother and all these kids with different
what
ages.
Yeah,
She
that's
felt
what
them.
let,
She felt them.
well
A
let me
woman.
let,
A woman.
well let me just put it like this. Now that we're clear that this was not a group home, this was just, I mean, this was a not a place with employees. This was just some random woman who brought a bunch of foster kids into a home. This
Look
is
how
her
that
fault.
turned out.
No,
This is
correct
her
that. It was
fault.
a black woman. A black woman that
What?
needs her ass beat. It was a black woman. Because black women want
Well,
all
okay.
these, oh yeah. They want
Well, I
all these
mean,
rights. But this black woman failed all those kids.
yeah, this is her fault.
Hold her
That girl is
accountable. That black
this.
woman needs to be held accountable.
Yeah,
There was
that
no
girl
male
is dead
authority in that
because of her.
house. She was getting checks for all these kids. It was about the checks. It was not about the kids. If there was a male authority in that house, she wouldn't have been calling 911 on 10-year-olds. Come on, bro.
I, I,
She
I
was a
think
weak
we
bitch. She was weak.
I think we already saw what type of male authority she wants to have around. So this girl is dead because of this woman.
The government.
Point.
The government.
No, I'm saying the guy that was there was trying to participate in the fight. So
Yeah,
I see
the
what
weak
type of
ass nigga who was in there trying
right.
to beat up the 15-year-old
Yeah,
instead of getting these kids together and getting them on point. Hell,
right.
even if you was the nigga who was like, all right, you niggas can fight. Let's get in the backyard. You motherfuckers heads up 1-on-1 and let's do this shit right. Instead, you out here like a bitch trying to jump another little girl. You know what I'm saying? The shit is sad all the way around.
You
Yeah, it
what?
is. But what I
I mean, he.
saw, but in the moment, what I saw, and if you, again, I just saw it in the moment of what that officer had to face. I, again, I saw a threat. I saw a threat getting ready. I saw somebody getting ready to take someone's life. That's what he saw. I'm looking at the use of force. I'm looking at the use of force continuum in that moment when he had to pull that trigger. Because he was when he came up on it, he was trying to break up one fight. Michaela tried to stab the girl on the ground, and then all of a sudden she grabbed the girl with the pink and tried to stab her, and he caught her in mid stab. And then all of a sudden they coming out saying, "Well, that's a little girl. That's a." I'm like, my God. I'm like, really, really?
I
It's
mean,
just like what
for
happened in
clarity on this, he
L.A.
hopped out of that car with his hand on his gun,
No,
as
he
they
hopped out.
always do
No,
when
he
they
hopped out.
approach
He no
us.
no.
He
You didn't
hopped out
see.
that car. I saw another angle from the neighbor's camera across the street. And when he
But did you?
hopped out that car, he had his hand already positioned to pull his pistol.
Okay,
Because
so
I'm
let
pretty
me
sure
ask you
that's
this
true.
question.
that's how they approach situations with us. Now you can't sit on this panel and explain away this threat when a Kyle Rittenhouse can walk past a whole squad of police officers with a assault weapon
No,
after shooting and killing people.
You
Um,
mean when people were shooting? Actually, that Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Some guy threw a
You
Molotov
can't
cocktail at him.
tell me.
He th-
I don't
no.
no,
give
I
that
saw
don't
the
have
video.
nothing to
Some
do.
the
That don't have
guy
nothing to do with
the
what the
guy he shot
police
threw a
saw.
Molotov
The
cocktail on.
police didn't see that. The police didn't see that. What the police saw was someone approaching them with an assault weapon. Now,
No, actually, he was running away from the crowd that was trying to kill him. That's
he
what he
was
was
nerding,
doing.
approaching
He was
them.
running away
nerding,
from
He
them.
was approaching them
nerding. You're
with an
not gonna
assault
win this
weapon.
from. She is right. Cops do not
He was
approach us the
approaching them
same
with
way.
an assault
Period.
weapon.
Which is
I,
like why I
Period.
said
I
Really?
I'll
Because
say
I
this.
could show I
I'll
could
say
show
this.
you some videos of where this white guy who was an active shooter got killed by a deputy who just rolled up on him in a Walmart.
That's
I
fine,
could
right?
show.
But
That's an
I could show
anomaly.
you. I could
the
show you.
conversation
No,
we're
that's
now,
having,
not an anomaly. That
the
is not an anomaly.
conversation
I
we're
could show you
having, right?
hundreds of videos
Hold on,
of them
Neridian.
I,
shooting white people.
Neridian. Neridian, can I ask you a question? Hey,
Yeah,
Neridian, can I ask you a question? Let me ask you this question
yeah.
because I said the same thing from Micaiah. If Kyle Rittenhouse stayed his ass in Illinois and didn't cross state boundaries and break the law, would he have needed to defend himself? No. So that motherfucker should have been shot too. He came looking for trouble, just
He
like
should.
Micaiah went out
You
there with
know
the
what
knife.
should have happened
Same
with
thing,
Period.
Kyle
bro. You gotta
Rittenhouse?
hold him
He should have
accountable.
had that
He
rifle. He shouldn't
defending
have
him,
been there
bro.
in the first place. He shouldn't have
Exactly.
been
And
there.
he
In the,
shouldn't have been
he
he
shouldn't have
shouldn't
been
have had
there
the
in the
gun.
first place.
He should have had the rifle either. There's jurisdictions, laws in Wisconsin that prohibit him to have it unless there's a parent there. His mom took him
Yeah,
there, but she wasn't out there walking with him. So if he
I'm
didn't go
what
out there, he wouldn't have killed two people, right?
I'm not
well,
arguing with you on that. I'm
You
saying he
are.
shouldn't
You're
have been there
defending
in the
Kyle.
goddamn first. No, what I'm saying is he shouldn't have been there in the goddamn first place.
Okay, so he broke the law. So if a
Yes.
black man was walking towards a gang of cops with a rifle, you think they're gonna give him a thumbs up and say, "Hey man, good
I,
job"? No, they're gonna slow us down. He was
and
able to
and
walk through the
and
crowd of cops,
and
get
do
back in
you
the
think
car with
that
his
when the
mom, and
white
go back
guys
to Illinois,
do you
bro.
think that white guy at the Walmart who started firing at people and killed three people had a warning from the cop? No.
N-
Do
Nerding.
you think
Why,
that
why,
the
why,
guy who there was a
hold on,
guy in
Nerding,
Colorado who got out of the
Nerding,
car and started firing at the cops and the
Nerding,
cops killed him?
Nerding. Slow down, brother. I'm trying to save you while there's something to be saved.
I'm not
Brother,
saying that in every case that the
Nerding,
white guys
Nerding. Let me help you.
are
Let me help you,
squeaky
brother.
clean.
Brother, let me help you. Nobody's arguing if the cop shouldn't have shot somebody at all. Right now, the only position you was taking is that the cop should have shot somebody. Nobody's even arguing if the cop should have shot
I'm
somebody.
looking at
So
what I'm
so
looking at was
you look
what I
you're
saw
nerding. I'm
in
trying to
these
help
what I'm
you.
saying.
Nerding.
All right,
I'm trying to help
yeah.
you, brother. It's a bunch of black people there. A white guy shot somebody, and you came up here to take the position that the white man should have shot somebody. That nobody's even arguing if he should have shot. Why?
No, what I'm saying,
Let it go,
what
brother.
I'm no, I'm looking at if it was in if you were
Nobody's
in that same
arguing if
predicament.
he should have shot somebody.
That's all I'm
Nobody's
looking.
making
That's
that
all.
argument. Nobody's arguing that.
I'm
Nobody.
just going by.
Nobody's arguing if he should have shot somebody or not. Nobody.
No, I'm going by what I saw in that moment.
Do
Again,
you
again,
understand?
I
Nobody is arguing
understand.
if the man should have shot somebody. Nobody is making an argument that the man shouldn't have shot at all. Nobody is making that argument.
so yeah, back to the Makai Bryant situation. Now,
I
Bianca,
mean,
you
it's
just popped.
sad all the way around. This whole thing is sad all the way around.
It is. It's sad all around now, but we're gonna take a step forward. So Bianca, so you just popped on the panel. So we've all had the conversation with the exception of Neridian, but we pretty much know Neridian's stance on the situation. But we'll get back to it. But with this Makai Bryant situation, how do you feel the cop should have handled the situation? Now, you said you watched it from a different angle, which tells me you've seen the video multiple times, so you're pretty well aware of what happened in the video. How do you feel, or what do you feel the response to the situation should have been?
Um, I, I'm a veteran. I believe in due process. I believe that every American deserves the right to due process. I think that no police officer on any block should be the judge, jury, and executioner for anybody, anywhere, at any time. We have been through too much to avoid that. I mean, at this point, the motherfucking redcoats are coming. I mean, I'm saying. Next thing you know, the motherfucker's gonna be posted up in your house, sleeping with your wife and eating your fucking food and disciplining your kids. So where does it end?
Nigga, what? Wait, huh?
Yeah, no, no. Hello. Did you hear what I said?
I just
Okay,
want to.
let me
Can I get
ask
a
this
simple
question,
answer
Mr.
to the
Hold
Brown.
on.
question?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
give
want to
you
know about the
clarity
red
on
coats,
this
baby.
because history repeats itself. Now you understand what I'm referencing when when the British soldiers came and they were trying to enforce what the Queen wanted, which was to tax us and take our shit, right? They came into these cities and they walked up in the motherfuckers' houses and they was sleeping with their wives and eating their food and shit. When they was walking up into these cities, that was what they alerted the people. The redcoats are coming. Okay? So understand history repeats itself if you don't check it.
Bianca,
Well,
I
Bianca, I have
understand the
to
I
ask
know
this
direction you may have
question.
you're
went,
right. So my
but
point
but
is, we get letting this get too far. We're letting it get too far. At this point, they're doing what they want to do. So
so you don't think he
they're
should have
killing
shot?
kids. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I don't think they
Okay,
should be killing anybody
Bianca,
on the side of the road. No.
but Bianca,
Hey,
if that
Bianca, read the
person is
comments.
armed, if that person is armed with a knife and actually has another person up against a car, getting ready to stab him, you still want that officer not to do anything?
Did you hear what I just said?
Did you hear what I just said?
I heard what you just
Imagine,
said. You're
okay,
asking me another
imagine
question
if
when
that
I
was your
already
daughter.
gave you a
Imagine
clear,
if that was your
concise
daughter
answer.
who's getting ready to have her life taken.
Well, first of all, my grown ass daughter better not be anywhere trying to fight anybody's
No, no,
kid.
no. Let's just say we're beyond that point.
My
We're
30
beyond
year
it.
old
She's
daughter
getting
better not
her
be
life,
anywhere trying to
her
fight
life,
any
her
16 year
life is in
old.
danger. Her life is in danger. A knife is
She
coming
put
towards her.
herself in danger.
Oh my god.
That 30
Oh
year
my
old put
god.
herself in danger when she went over there to challenge a 15-year-old with a knife.
No, that no. That girl grabbed that other girl by the neck and was getting ready to
Wait a
stab her.
minute,
She was
wait a
in
minute.
mid stab.
The girl who was about to be stabbed, she was 30. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. That
So
Well,
was
that
one of
girl
the
ain't.
staff
understand
members.
understand this
Hold on.
clearly. So this is why you got to know what you're talking
I
about
didn't know
before you
that.
open your mouth. This is why you got
Thank
to
you,
know
Bianca.
what you're talking about before you
But
open your
again,
mouth.
again,
Before you sanction
Bianca.
a 15-year-old being murdered by the police officers. You better know what you're
So do
talking
you
about.
want her to become a killer? Is
Before
that what you're
you
telling me?
sanction that, you better know what you're talking
I,
about.
yeah, well,
Wait a
First
minute.
of
Wait a
all,
let's
minute.
get the details. Let's get
Are
the
you saying
details.
at this point? Are you saying at this point
if you don't
you
want
don't mind
clarity of the
a 15-year
situation,
old getting ready to stab a 30-year-old in the neck?
I'm gonna need you to pipe down.
Is this where we're going?
All right.
Absolutely.
While the cop is
Hold,
standing there.
hold on. I'm gonna give y'all the platform to go back and forth, but right now we in discovery mode, so I'm trying to get some
Holy
questions.
cow!
Bianca,
Right.
you
Because he
got
don't
some.
know what's
You
going
Holy
on.
shit!
hold on. You got some information that we don't have that I have not
See,
seen.
this is the
Definitely
thing. I
on.
know because I've been digging all into this because my issue with this is that black people are sanctioning this girl being murdered by this police officer. And that's not okay with me.
Okay.
I'm not
Especially
saying that.
when the first red flag
Oh
would
my
have been
god!
foster home for me.
That was
Because
a foster home.
foster
What are you
home
talking
for
about?
me,
Wait.
That was a
I want to get
foster
some
home.
details. So,
I'm gonna
do
need
you know?
you
Do you
to
know why
put
this
your
30-year
vagina
old
up
woman?
for a minute.
Bianca, hold on. We gonna
Oh my
ignore that.
god!
Listen. Hold on. Listen.
Holy shit!
Let me.
So you're
I get
telling me
Meridian.
that you don't mind
Meridian.
if a 15-year
Fam.
old girl is gonna murder?
All right. So listen. I'm trying to
Thank
get to
you.
the point. So, you got facts that we don't have. So let me ask some questions and let's build the story out. Right. So you're saying that this was a 30-year-old woman that went over to that house to fight this 15, 16-year-old girl.
Understand, this is the issue. The girl, they called that woman over to the house. The foster mother called her over to the house. This was 3 days in a row. She called this woman over to the house. This is someone that used to also be a foster child in her home. So she
Okay.
called this 30-year-old over
So
to
I
the
read
house
that
to
report.
discipline this 15-year-old, whatever. 3 days in
This
a
is
row. It
this
now
is the
the
same
this
woman.
15-year-old's little sister is the one who called the police because they had been
Uh,
coming over there to fight her sister 3 days in a row. It was
okay.
when her father showed up outside and the police showed up outside that she came out the house. When they showed up outside, she came out the house on go mode because they had been coming to that house 3 days in a row because of that foster mother calling them over there to beat on that girl 3 days in a row. So my question would be, why is this foster mother calling these grown ass women over there to beat up on a kid? First of all. Second of all, this is Ohio. Stand your ground state. Third of all, why is that baby there?
Okay. So now you've illuminated some things. So earlier I told you I read an article to the listeners, I told y'all I read an article that was talking about how the foster mother had some abuse situations going on that home, and she had a older child that was one of her former foster kids coming back and was abusing the kids. Now Bianca just gave us
30,
the full story. So
30
now
years
this
old.
older child was coming over. That was the woman who was in pink,
She ain't no older
and
child. She grown.
well, a grown woman, right? So the grown woman was coming over and probably putting in that Maury, Montel version of tough love that they used to do back in the day, and it probably got over the top and too aggressive. Now, from what you just said, this all makes sense. So really, this is a situation where the mother's at fault because her child's in foster care. The foster mother ain't shit because she has this grown woman coming over to discipline these kids who don't know owe any allegiance or give a fuck about this other grown woman who's coming over. Now we have a full story of what's going on. Now, in my opinion, it don't change the circumstances of what happened, but now I have a full understanding of what happened.
Well,
So we can go from
the 15-year-old could have known it. Well, the 16-year-old could have known the woman. We don't know how long she's been in foster care. So to me, at the end of the day, it's gonna come back to
Well,
the
it's all gonna
person
come
running the
out.
foster home. This is
Hmm.
she got this girl killed,
That's what I
and
believe.
and probably the mother got this girl killed. This seems like it's on them at the end of the day.
Yeah, because it
Um,
seems like the father went there to get her out of that situation, right? Because, like, literally, when they got there, they just came out of the house, like they flooded out of the house. Like she had been waiting for someone to just come there, and she just flooded out of the house. That's the other angle you see when they're from the neighbor's camera. But the thing is about them releasing this video of her, you got to understand why. Because at the end of the day, they want to justify this shooting because it's a kid. They want to justify it. He hopped out the car, he shot her. They want to justify it. And justifying it is showing her with a knife. Oh, well, she had a knife. Oh, well, she clearly was a threat. She had a knife. Well, clearly, Kyle was a threat. He had a fucking AK. Or clearly, goddamn Dylan Roof was a threat. He had an AK. He killed a church full of motherfuckers. So you know he ain't got no boundaries. But we ain't approaching them like that. But see, we'll okay and we'll sanction a little black girl being murdered in the middle of the street. That shit don't sit right with me. It
so
never
well,
will.
not
so
well.
let me ask you this, Bianca. The little girl was mid stabbing when she got shot. What did you think the appropriate response should have been mid stabbing?
Again,
Should he have
see the
should he
thing
have let her
is,
stab the other woman? And I
she should
understand.
have came out the house a little bit earlier, in my opinion,
I
before he
said that
got
earlier.
there.
I said that
Because
earlier. I don't
because
think that
me, I'd have aired that bitch out. And
what
I'd have called the
that's what I'm
police to
saying.
clean them motherfuckers up off my lawn. Cause I
That's
wish the fuck
exactly
you would
what
pull
I'm
up on my
saying.
shit.
It had this situation occurred before the police got there and that grown woman got stabbed and poked up, would nobody have felt bad about the situation? Well, bitch, you shouldn't have came over and did the situation, right? But because she did this in front of the police officer, which we all knew from a kid, you don't do this shit in front of certain authority figures. She's now unfortunately deceased. So this is the problem that has really arisen from the situation. She was mid poke when she got shot. It wasn't like she was walking around with the knife. It wasn't like she was just sitting in a chair with the knife, or she was just sitting there calmly and casual. She was mid swing. So I understand the dynamic of being upset that this little girl is dead. However, if she didn't have the brain cells or the cognitive function to know, hey, listen, we don't do certain things in front of the police. That's not really something I gotta sit up and have marches and put candles out for.
Well, I'm gonna look at it like this. I mean, because I'm just being realistic. Again, I'm gonna say it. If somebody's finna stab me, shoot them. Period. I don't care who they are. I don't care whether you white, black, Hispanic, girl, boy, dog, whatever. Shoot anybody trying to stab me because I'm being for real. Now, when it comes to this situation, there's a lot of failures going on. The
Mm-hmm.
failure it's too many
Too
because if this
many.
was if the girl's father was there, he's a failure because he's trying to kick somebody in the head instead of taking control of the situation. The person, if that was the foster mother there, you let your house run on its own. You do nothing to handle discipline and order in
It
any
was all
type of.
anarchy that was
eh,
there.
oh, hold on, you do nothing to run your home in any type of effective fashion. So you're wrong. then the mother of this child, the fact that this home is like this, and you leave your child with these people, you look crazy. Point blank. Period. So the now the 30-year-old woman that came over, if she was coming to do some type of discipline, which I have a hard time believing she even knows how to discipline, if she used to also be under the foster care of the woman who's letting the house run on its own. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody looks wrong in this particular situation. So I mean, when it comes to the cop killing the kid, I can't say nothing to this for the kid on that behalf because she was about to stab somebody. That's what happens. The sad part is ain't nobody trained her that when the cops show up, you don't commit a murder in front of them. That's the problem I see. I don't see a problem with the cop shooting her. Now, Daphne raised up a good point. Maybe he didn't have to shoot her so many times, but you can't commit a crime in front of a cop. As black people, we especially should know not to commit a crime in front of the police officer. So I
Nigga,
can't let that ride.
the father. So now this makes sense. The father was kicking another, and I don't know if
Kicking
this
another girl in the
15-year-old.
head.
Yeah, kicking another girl in the head. What the fuck was you doing as a punk ass daddy? You know what I'm saying? This is your child. So now you done jumped out with your daughter to beat this girl up. You done kicked the girl in the head in front of the police officers and watch your daughter with a knife go stab another bitch. Why were you not there as a father to be like, hey, listen, we gonna chill out. Hey. So the whole
Bro, he should have
parenting
been coming to
situation.
pick his girl up, is what he should have been doing.
Yeah.
Why is your daughter there? So he looked bad, period.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy to me the dynamic of these people. But now the story makes all the sense in the world. These are ratchet people doing ratchet things, and a ratchet result happened to them. I it's fucking tragic, but play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean, this is a buildup of decades of stupidity and not checking people. That's what I'm seeing this as. Because the foster mother obviously ain't doing her job. The daddy, I don't know
Ain't
what his
doing his
story
job.
is, but he
He
ain't
ain't
don't
doing his
seem like
job
he's
either.
doing his job because his daughter in foster care. The mama seemed like she ain't doing her job because her daughter in foster care. Don't you know what I'm saying? I don't see nobody as an adult doing their job.
Rael said it best. He's a bitch.
You know, and in real talk, it seemed like he tried to kick that girl in the head on the sneak tip. So I really question, dude.
He's
That's
really
a
trying to
fact.
stomp her.
He got bitch in his heart, and then he came up there. He didn't make the situation any worse. He made the situation he didn't make the situation any better. He made the situation worse. Had a legitimate father, like
And
had
while you
Roger
got
been
all
there.
these Rambos down there in the comments that ain't gonna kill nothing and ain't gonna let nothing die, there's rules to engagement in war. You can't just go out and just kill nothing. It's called the Geneva Convention. See, this is why you don't have soldiers going around just killing motherfuckers on the street because you'll go to prison for it. There's
There is a
rules
use
to
of force
engagement.
continuum, but
Okay?
there is something called the use of force continuum.
I'll put it to you like this. You take this behavior overseas and you see where you end up.
Whatever.
Try it. Try it. Humor me, please. Do this overseas and see where you end up.
All right, so
Cause
we
they'll
gonna.
throw you
If
to the
a if a
wolves. Expect your black ass. You take your
That
black
nigga
ass.
said
You
the
do it first.
wolves.
They'll throw you to the wolves. You'll be right over there in Guantanamo Bay, like one of them other motherfuckers looking stupid. Try it. I'll be waiting. Let me know how it work out.
you mean oh my god, you mean the use of force continuum? That's all I saw was a threat at the moment. That's all I no. But I'm
All I
looking at
want you to
what
do
the
is try it.
look. Just listen to me.
Get
Just
out of your
listen to me.
mother's basement and go try it.
Okay, so like I said, if that was a gun that she had and not a knife, what would you do as a police officer? I'm looking at it from the police officer from the body camera. That's all I'm seeing. That's all I'm asking. I know the story of the now I finally got the story of the lady coming over in the pink and all this good stuff. Yeah, that's a failure on all the parts. But what I'm seeing is once I saw the body camera as the officer was walking up he's actually trying to break up a fight, then seeing the knife and her grabbing her and trying to stab her in the neck. That's a use of force that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm just seeing it as the officer was seeing it. Put yourself in his shoes.
I don't have to.
So let
I
me ask
watch
you this.
them kill people on the news every day, so I know what
Oh
it's
my,
like
oh
being
my
in their
God.
shoes. I see it from their body cams all the time.
Let me ask you
And
this.
he's yelling, "Stop! Hey, hey, stop, stop, stop!" He's saying it, and she's
We
still
we
not
get
listening.
we get the point.
That's all I'm
So
saying.
yeah,
I'm
we get that
not trying
point.
to have an argument
Let
with
me
you.
let me ask y'all this. What
I'm
do you
not going to
think?
argue with you. You're
What do you
nobody to
think
argue with.
we could do with
Neither
preventing
are
a
you.
situation
So I
like this,
guess we're
right?
nobodies then.
So in
So there's that
preventing
on
this
that.
situation
Go ahead,
and
Right.
keeping
Bryant.
this situation from going right for the future references, what do you think? Because we have two caseworkers on the panel. These are two people who worked in um I don't want to say child protective services, but in the system with children and making sure that these children get the resources, love, affection, and care, everything that they need, right? So we have two people on the panel, that is Bianca and Daphne. What is it that we can do to make sure that this doesn't happen? How do we prevent these scenarios from occurring? Right? Because at the point we're at now, it seems like this is 98.9% the fault of the foster mother and the both parents, in my opinion. So how can we prevent these kind of situations, Daph?
But I can speak first, Bianca. Like I said, working for years for the state, it wasn't an easy job, and we actually had to go to houses and take kids out of the environment they were in. So all I can say is I feel like she was failed by the foster home. She was also failed by Paula. There's no mention of her actual father being in the picture. So it sounds like the single mother couldn't deal with Micaiah and ended up throwing her to a foster mother. It happens. You got kids who are just bad, and the moms can't handle it. But I question what happened with the dad. Was Paula toxic? Did he not want to be around Paula? Did he even know he had a daughter? We won't know that until all the facts come out. But still, that's not an excuse for her masculine behavior to be the aggressor. Again, if the cop was literally yelling to stop, she should have stopped. She didn't. Now, I don't know if that's true because they said the stops were faint. I'm hearing all these different stories, but I don't know what's actual the truth. But if that is true, that he was yelling for Micaiah to drop the knife and she didn't, he had to stop the threat. She was about to stab, even if it was a 30-year-old woman, that cop was oblivious to who was who and the ages. He didn't know. He came on the scene and was ready to shoot. He did what he did. I just think 4 shots was a lot. But I'm not saying that the cop was wrong in stopping the threat from stabbing the 30-year-old woman. Even if she was 30, the cop probably didn't think she was 30 because you got this 16-year-old who's a lot bigger than the 30-year-old, right? So she seems like that's an aggressive threat. I have to stop it.
So
And that still shot, she was getting ready to stab that woman. At the end of the day, that woman didn't have no knife. She didn't have a weapon. She was about to get stabbed. So the cop had to stop her. And I think if she had better influences in her life, she wouldn't be so aggressive. Like I said, when my mother died, I was young. It was 3 girls and a boy. I thought I had to be tough. I thought I had to act like a man and call men bitches and stuff. I thought that was what I had to do until a black man told me that was ugly of me. You're not a man, you're a woman. Be a woman. So what I'm saying is I think she could have been raised better if she had better in her life. In that situation, if she would have stayed in the house, she would still be alive today. And if when Bianca said that 3 days in a row they were trying to beat her up, why wasn't the cops called on these women who came for 3 days trying to beat up Micaiah? So again, if it was 3 days of this, it could have been stopped. It wasn't. So maybe she had enough and came out there. But again, if she would have stayed in the house, we wouldn't be talking about her dying. And it's sad that she died, but I can't sit here and say that she was innocent because she had a weapon. The cop did what he had to do, and I'm not mad at him stopping the threat. I just thought that 4 shots was a bit excessive. That's all. I'm not saying that the cop was wrong. In this case, I wasn't gonna march and put a video up because when I saw the proof, I can't deny it. I can't deny the truth. So I'm not gonna sit here and be with these women because they have kids and they feel bad. You have to look at the origin. She was a troubled young lady. Okay. And if she didn't have a knife, she would be alive today. If she would have fought a fist to fist, she probably beat the hell out of that 30-year-old. To be honest, I don't even think she needed the knife. At that point, it was one on one, right? So again, this could have been avoided if she was taught better. The foster mother's at fault. A lot of people are at fault. But if she didn't have the knife, she would still be alive today. And unfortunately, she's not. So I do feel bad. I didn't cry, but I did feel bad because I've seen girls like her who are just so aggressive. They act like they have to be tough, and they don't have to be tough. If you're in an environment where it's bad, ask for help. That's what I did. When I didn't have a mother teaching me how to be a woman, I had to ask for help. It's all about asking, not grabbing a knife. So again, that's just my take.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's so many different flaws in this story on so many different levels. Um, I'll just say this. I've been shooting for a long time, right? I've been shooting at some shit for a long time. There's ways to neutralize a threat. Um, that's just my opinion. Um, I think that the way we're approached is very aggressively because we're always looked at as if we're a major threat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's life or death. This is the excuse that they use when they gun us down. So much so to where we have adopted that same principle in how we handle each other. Um, and it's sad to see. Uh, I think that when you corner a lion, you're going to get attacked. That's what I think. I think that children should not be expected to be as present minded as a mature adult. We shouldn't expect that from a child when the adults aren't even as present minded as they should be. We shouldn't expect a 15-year-old to be present minded, to be level headed in a situation where someone is attacking her and has been attacking her day after day if a police officer isn't present minded enough to find out what's going on before he unloads his weapon on a child. I think that's preposterous to expect. Um, I think that um, it's sad that we just had this conversation about foster children. We were talking about DMX, and we had a lot of sympathy for his story and Roxanne Shante and people like that. And, you know, she spoke about running away from her foster home and going through all the things that she went through and being so angry and aggressive because that's what she had to do to protect herself. And then we bury this baby right behind that. So it's a lot that I think about in regards to this child. This is why I dug so deep into her story to find out what happened to her because, you know, on one hand, on one angle, it's like, oh, well, she had to be neutralized. She was a threat. But on the other angle, was she or are we?
So Bianca, you said that you shot a lot of guns, correct?
I've been shooting since I was 13.
Bianca? Okay, Queen. So imagine being an officer and they're telling you that somebody's yielding a knife, getting ready to stab someone. You get there and you see the person about to stab them. Their hand goes back. What do? Do you say, please put the knife down and go up there and give them a hug? Or what do you do in that instance if you see another civilian getting ready to get gutted? What is your first instinct? I would love to know because in that instance, that if you look at the still shot, she was getting ready to stab the 30-year-old, right? You don't know
I,
it's a
I
30
don't
year old.
I don't know what the call was that he got, so I can't speak to what
It was a
You said
fight
you
information
dug
he
deep
was
at
in
the
it.
armed
house.
with. He
It
got
was
a
But
a
you said
fight
you
call
for
dug
that
deep
there
in
was
it.
a fight at the house. That's what I
And
read.
someone had a knife. That's what the note said. So CNN is
Okay.
wrong. So
So
they didn't
I
he didn't
I
get a
didn't
call that somebody was wielding a knife?
I don't watch TV. I read.
Okay.
Well, actually, you should look at the video from the body camera. It's not
I looked
pretty.
at the video from the body camera and from the neighbor's camera.
And did you see that cop? I mean, again, imagine if that was a machete in her hand,
I don't have to imagine that. I'm okay.
or ma- or imagine
I
if imagine if she had a pistol.
don't
I,
have
I'm
to
just
I don't.
going
imagine
by.
that
I would
either.
be
I'm
I would be
okay.
I would be upset if he, I mean, I believe me, I don't like it. I don't like it any more than you do. But I mean, in that moment, it's what you're seeing. What you're seeing in that moment, you're trying to break up the fight, and all of a sudden, another girl's being attacked. You're trying to break up that fight. Then you see her go over with that knife in mid swing, getting ready to gut somebody. And believe me, there's failure. There's a failure to go around all the way around that whole situation. The foster mother was wrong for doing all this crazy stuff, knowing that she can't take on all these kids. The father was wrong for attacking the girl on the ground and kicking her. And and the girl was wrong. I mean, the 30-year-old was wrong for coming over and trying to fight this girl. But is that what you cannot deny is that when you see it in that moment and you see the threat is becoming worse and worse, it's evolving. It's evolving as you're trying to do something. You're not thinking about, oh, do I grab her and try to grab that knife out of her hand and all that good stuff. If you're seeing someone's life being almost being taken, you know, I mean, I don't like it anymore. I don't like it any more than you do. But we gotta be real here. I'm
I
just
am
going
being
by what
real
I saw.
here, and I am
I'm
really
just going by what
okay
I
with
saw in that action.
disagreeing. And you can do that. We have a difference of opinion. I'm okay with that. I don't agree.
I don't agree. I don't agree with what happened, but
But I don't
and,
agree with you, and that's okay.
and that's okay too. I'm still
Okay,
cool
so
with
I'm
you,
not I'm
Bryant,
not
though.
I'm not here trying to convince you to change your mind. I understand that you're going to think how you think. I don't care. That's okay with me. You think one way, I think another. So we disagree on this, and that's okay.
Well, damn,
You
look
know,
at us being
and
all productive and shit. Look at us being all productive and shit. DJ Cadillac, and a named Maestro. Y'all are more than welcome to pop up on the panel. I am dropping the link every little once in a while. Every voice is welcome. I love dissenting opinions because this is a conversation that needs to be had, right? This is a situation that there is a divide in the community on, and I think it needs to be talked out, talked through. I may stand one way, Bianca stands another way, Noridian stands another way. But the point is to get an understanding and maybe build something. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Yeah.
Who else
Yeah,
got to say?
DJ Cadillac. He said that cop didn't even try to break it up. He needs to get on here. DJ Cadillac said he
how do
didn't
you
try to
break up
break up the
something
fight.
that's overly evolving and rapidly evolving?
Now, Bianca, you watched the video. Did you see? Because it looked to me that both of the girls, right? So the girl who hit the ground and had her legs all open, looking crazy, she had a knife in her hand as well. And it looked like when she hit the ground, her knife
He
flew out
rolled
of her hand
away.
and slid on the
Yeah.
floor or on the ground. Did you see that knife too? Or was it just me? Because I was trying to rerun the video. She had something in her hand for sure, but it looked like a knife.
Hold on, I'm gonna check out the slow motion video. Give me a second.
Okay, yeah. But it looked like they both was in there, and I
Officer
don't know
gets
who
out of
hit
his
the knife
car.
first, but they both had the knife in their hands. And to me, as an officer pulling up on the scene, I don't give a fuck if you guys had butter knives. I'm not finna go with y'all. I got the gun, nigga. Drop that shit and sit down. So I understand the
Oh,
dynamic.
I'm rewinding it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go to the slow motion video. Hold on. I
All
see
right,
the
but yeah,
woman with the
I
dog and the cat.
me as an
No,
officer,
she
I pull
dropped
up
her
on the scene.
phone. That was her
I got
phone.
it.
That wasn't a
Oh, it's a
knife. That
phone.
was her phone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm
And
not
she's
fighting
getting
that.
kicked in the head by the dad. The girl with the dreads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her phone that dropped.
Okay, cool. So
Now
she
I
didn't
see the
have the
knife
knife.
coming up.
So only one of them had the knife, right?
Only one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Because the
So
guy in the
at this point,
gray, who's supposed to be her dad, is kicking someone.
yeah,
That's the girl in the
the
dreads.
whole ass nigga attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is where we are with it. So I understand the dynamic of the cop. I, had I pulled up on the scene, little girl would have been shot. It's just what it is. It wouldn't have been no taser,
I mean, it's a
no
bad
nothing.
outcome.
It's a bad situation, and really, I at a certain point can't even blame the little girl. This solely lies on the parents involved in the situation. So if that's the father kicking the other little girl in the head, this is 75% his fault because of the
He should be
time he put
arrested for
aside for his
assault.
daughter. Right, he should be arrested. And then you have the foster home who facilitated all this bullshit to start with, right? So had she not facilitated all the bullshit, we wouldn't be here. She needs her license revoked or whatever it is that lets her keep foster kids, and she just need to go ahead and be at the crib by her damn self.
Charged. Actually, she needs to be charged as a willing participant. That's a crime.
Mm.
Um, all right, so we got DJ Cadillac on the panel. What's going on, bro? Let me give you the floor so you can give your opening statement uninterrupted, and then you can jump from there and kind of bounce off the conversation.
What's going on, brother? What's going on? What's up to the panel? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Yeah. So from my standpoint, man, I'm an analyst by nature. You know, it's kind of my job to break things like this down. Just watching the different angles of the video and assessing the situation and things like that. And if you really watch that video, a lot of people are getting caught up on the body cam video and the way that the camera has a certain aspect ratio to it, where it looks like she was so far away from him, but in actuality, she was right in front of the cop. He walked right up into the situation, and when she started the altercation with the girl that fell, both of them fell right in front of the cop. But
Yeah,
he
they were
had
at
his
his feet.
right. He had his hand on his gun the whole entire time, and he's so busy trying to pull his gun out of the holster that he allowed her to get away from him, because he tried to grab her with his left hand, but his right hand was on that gun. And he's pulling out the gun as she's standing right in front of him. You can pause the video. I know the brother was just
He
watching in
got
slow
out of
motion
the car with his hand
with
on
his
the
hand
gun.
on the gun. Right.
Period.
Exactly, because they had a report that somebody did have a knife. So he came in the gate ready to shoot, right? But when he seen her with the knife originally, and I know everybody said, "Hey, I'm not gonna do it," but I've been military 20 years. Jumping on somebody with a weapon is what we're trained to do. That's what we're. Hey, you don't run away from a weapon, because that's the easiest way to get shot. You go towards the weapon and try to disarm the person. So he didn't attempt that. He stood in one place the entire time. If you watch it from the other angle, from the neighbor, the cop literally doesn't even take a step. Once he's there, he plants and he shoots. And he allowed her to go to the girl in the pink. When she got away from him, the girl in the pink wasn't even near her. But if you pause the body cam video, he's trained on her before she even gets to the girl in the pink. He's already ready to shoot her at that point. If that would have been his taser, then he could have easily tased her. I know a lot of people right now are saying, "Oh, tasers don't work." It's funny how in 1 week we went from one cop who should have been using her taser instead of the gun. In 1 week, we don't went from that to tasers don't work. Tasers wouldn't have worked. Tasers don't do nothing. And I was like, wow, look how fast they got to submit to
I'm gonna
tasers don't work that fast.
Just that fast.
And that's really all I got. To me, he could have easily grabbed her up. I personally don't believe she was going to stab anybody. She had a perfect opportunity to stab the girl on the ground, and she didn't. I think she was just posturing, trying to save face for what they probably done to her earlier. When she seen the cops coming, she felt like, okay, I could probably get a lick in, and then somebody going to stop me. I know kids. My daughter's 21, 22.
Damn, that's a
You
hell of
know.
a stop.
well, the cop stopped her, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you're
a
right.
hell of
You're
a
right.
stop.
Cop stopped her.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're right.
But
Yeah, the unfortunate part with posturing is there's you can take it to a certain level. You don't take it to the level that you do in front of the police. So I understand the dynamic of maybe they'll stop me. However, you got a knife. I've done knife training. You don't come out unscathed from a knife. So whether that's a butter knife, a machete, the shit Rambo got, I'm not finna tussle with you when I got a gun. So I understand the dynamic of maybe feeling like the cop should have done something, but just looking as me as the cop, I'm not. I have a gun. The fuck you think you doing? I tell you to stop. It's time to stop. So I really don't understand the dynamic of little girl going to lunge with the gun with the knife, whether she was meaning to do it, sort of going to do it, playing with it, and I tell you to stop. The consequences are the consequences.
Yeah, another thing on that video is the girl in pink wasn't always on the car. She walks up to the cop from the beginning. She kind of gets pushed back. the girl has her before they even get to the car. That's why I said I don't think she really was gonna cut her, because she was in front of her before they even got to the car, and then they kind of got walked back to the car. They kind of, she kind of pushed her into the car. But another question I got for the whole panel was, whatever happened to the asp? What happened to the baton? Have y'all seen anybody get beat up with a baton? And I ain't seen the baton in a long time, man.
The baton is a. I think a lot of the police officers are moving away from baton because the baton is getting them a lot of lawsuits because that baton is whooping some ass. That
Exactly. That asp ain't no punk. That's why if he would have cracked it with that ass when she got near him, oh, it'd have been over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that Taser's replacing the baton. That's what I believe is going on. Um, but yeah, I mean, you make a good point though, because my thing is, I've looked at the fact that she was super tough once the cops got there. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that
Exactly.
was a bad look too. And I'm just disappointed in black people as a whole for us to not have the reaction that when the cops are there, you stop. And maybe that's me because I'm from Chicago, but we know when the police pull up, we stop. We don't care what the beef is. We
Yep,
stop.
that's true.
You know? Yeah, they got to ride out, then we'll get back into it. But they got to go first.
Cortez Smith says we can't let that slide. Did he just did he just say that she wasn't gonna stab her?
That goes
Cadillac, you
to
want to
He
DJ
answer that?
did.
Cadillac.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. I don't think she was gonna stab nobody. I really
Well,
don't.
from the looks
I,
of things.
Cortez is coming at you with that statement. That's what that was.
yeah, because
Well,
like I
from the
said,
look of
she had the
things.
first girl on the ground. If I'm gonna stab somebody, like you went at the first girl. If you was gonna stab somebody, you went at her. You ain't stab her. She walked right over. You got to watch that video close. She literally steps over the girl that's on the ground, and then old boy comes in and tries to kick her while she tries to get the
Zoom
girl
in.
in the pink.
Zoom in.
I'm zooming in.
There you go.
Bam, bam,
So they was right in front of him.
bam. That does that look like she was playing with that knife to you?
Go
Does
back
she
one more
look like she
time. Do
was
it
playing
again.
around? Okay, here it is. Oh, hold on a second.
Fair use, by the way. Fair use.
Fair use.
Right in front of him.
Did that look like she was gonna play around with that knife to you
Mm, mm, mm.
in mid
Well,
Yeah, I
swing?
can hear him loudly
It,
say, "Hey, hey, get
it,
down."
Yeah, he
yup.
didn't. Instead of all that, hey, 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 he could have been actually intervening.
Well,
He
he
talking about some,
intervened.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey. Like how a teacher tried to stop a fight. They're like, hey, the old
But the thing
teacher,
is,
hey.
Look,
but,
in mid
but
swing.
hey, DJ Cadillac. The thing is, Micaiah heard. She saw the cop there. Why did she keep going? The cop was there.
Facts. I
Like
can't
Roger
There it
said,
defend
as
that.
is.
You're
soon as
right.
she seen that cop there,
that's
she continued to attack.
you.
She
You know.
You're
You
continued
right.
know
to
what my
attack.
belief
That was
at
the
this
whole
point.
point of the cops being called.
At this point, from everything
Now I
that we've seen,
see it.
my
It
belief is
is.
we
She
got the
saw the cop
daddy
This is
there.
here.
the.
The dad empowered her to continue with that bullshit because the dad
Right.
was still doing the
Right.
bullshit. So
Right.
again,
Stop right there.
more
Stop right
reason why
there.
this punk ass father is at fault for his daughter's death. This is some
Yeah.
bullshit. Because had the father
Look at
said,
him.
"Hey, listen, we need to chill out. The police is here," and grabbed his little girl, she'd be alive. But instead,
So
what he did
DJ,
to kick the other girl in the head, yeah, it's some foolishness going on.
Yeah, and I think he was telling it.
DJ.
He never said drop the knife. He said get down, and I think he was
He
telling
was
the girl
talking
in
to
the pink.
everybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking he was telling everybody to get down, but because he was gonna take that shot, I think he was telling the girl in the pink to get down personally. Because if she moves the opposite direction, she's
But
it. If after the
but
first
look,
shot, if
Here it
even
she
if he
is.
was
runs the
telling
Here it
opposite
just
is.
one
way,
person to get down, Micaiah saw the cop there and continued to attack.
To
So it
go.
makes it even worse watching it from this angle because she knew he was on the scene. So, like Roger said, we from Chicago. So if we see the cops arrive, we act like we didn't do nothing. We don't keep acting a fool, right? They're here now. They're
Hmm.
here now. So
We
all
she
facts.
immediately
saw the cop,
stopped.
she heard the cop, and kept attacking.
And kept going. That's
Kept
that's
going.
the that's the thing.
You
She
can't,
kept
bro.
going.
Come on now. Hey, even if he didn't tell Micaiah directly put the knife down, I know she heard that. Hey, come on, we're not deaf. They were too close to not hear that. She
No,
seen him,
but
heard him, continued to
Again,
attack. He put
that
her
is the
down.
use of force. That is the use of force continuum in action.
Nerdine, my thing is,
Maybe
I
one
think
shot would have did it.
no, no, I think he was gonna shoot regardless.
That's
I
what
mean,
I
I'm not
say.
gonna say he
That's
wasn't
my
gonna
point.
shoot
That's the
regardless.
whole point.
Yeah, but no, my thing is, I'm never gonna deny that point. What I'm saying is the fact that she put the knife up like she did, she justified his actions based on
Thank
that
you.
behavior. And the sad part to me is that she's that old. And I don't know if I can't say what it's like everywhere else in the country, but where I am, when the cops show up, we stop.
You
Period.
stop.
That's just what
I'm
it
in New
is.
York. I live in New York. I live in New York. The same thing. You stop. You don't continue to do what you're doing.
Right. It's like I'll holler at you. All right, this one over with. We'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? We'll get back to this later. But we're not gonna do this right now.
Well, you know,
I
we in a new culture now where it's fuck 12. You know, the young kids
So
is fuck 12, and they seeing all these videos of people trying to resist the police and this, that, and this.
Yeah,
I hate to
it's
say
fuck
it,
12
And
and
look
but
fuck
and look how
liberty
that
you
too.
know,
and look how that turned out.
all facts.
well, yeah.
so
Well,
Bianca,
That
now
turned
that she
out
saw
good.
that video and she saw the cop there, why did she still feel like she was in danger if the cop was there? Why do you think she still continued with the girl in the pink when she knew the
Um,
cop was on the premises?
I can't speak to her state of mind. I can't speak
I'm
to
just
a
saying,
fit.
now that you've seen it,
No,
how
I
do you
saw it
feel? Do you
before.
still feel the same?
I seen it before this conversation, and I
Okay.
absolutely still feel the same. I can't speak to her state of
Okay.
mind. Um, a 15-year-old being in a situation where some adults were coming to the house to jump on her. I don't know what her state of mind was, especially being that she was in a foster home. I don't know how long she was there, how long that abuse had been going on. I don't know what other type of abuse she had sustained. You just don't know her mindset. All of that plays a factor in where she was that day and why she handled things the way that she handled them. Um,
I mean, it's a sad outcome all the way around.
it's fucked up, and I feel like when everything comes out, because it's gonna come out, there'll be a lot of adults that will have to be held accountable for this. The police officer is definitely going to skate accountability because they always do. Because I mean, it's easy to justify killing us in the street, but
Oh, I'm happy.
especially
Hold on a
when,
second.
especially when we're okay with it. But it's going to be a lot of people held accountable for this. That's
So,
I
so
think
Bianca,
the social workers, I think it's going to be a lot of people held accountable for this. I think that foster home has probably had several complaints. So it's going to be a lot of shit to
they
comes to
have,
light with
they
this.
have.
Yeah.
So Bianca, I want to ask you one more question. So you're saying that you don't think the cop, you think the cop should be held accountable? You think he was in the wrong?
I
That's
think
what you're
any
saying?
police officer that circumvents due process should be held accountable. I think
I'm
qualified
so
immunity
happy
needs to
that you
be
said that.
banned. I think qualified immunity should be banned from the president all the way down. I think that if you uphold the law and if you are here to serve and protect, you don't need immunity from a motherfucking thing. So, yeah, there's always more than one way to handle a situation.
now my thing is,
Okay.
I actually agree
Hmm.
that it seemed like the cop was gonna do something regardless. I'm saying that the cop got let off the hook based on what the girl did. Now, is anybody's head gonna roll? I honestly don't think so. Because people gonna put so much focus on the cop, and the cop is gonna walk. You know what I'm saying? He gonna walk. I'm not saying what should or shouldn't happen. I'm saying he's going to walk. If this even gets processed, I doubt the man ever really has to face too much of anything. And because it's a woman in charge of this foster home, unless we keep a bunch of attention on this foster home, which most Americans will not, because we got short attention spans as a
Short attention
collective.
spans.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing's gonna happen. I don't think too much of anything's gonna happen. I'm just keeping it real. This is just gonna be forgotten about. At the end of the day, it's just a dead nigga. And based on how this country go, when it's just a dead nigga, it ain't that big of a deal.
I mean, you know what's so funny about reading these comments, because I see that these comments, it's a sausage fest in these comments. They're down there playing with each other's meat. However, what I'm realizing is they don't even understand how deeply rooted this cycle is. This is what my point is. this prison to pipeline and prison, excuse me, this school to prison pipeline and this school to grave pipeline. This system is so engraved and it's so deeply rooted and it's so intricate, and how they play us to the left every day. Just how he just mentioned how they were just talking about just last week. I don't understand why she didn't just use her taser. And now this week we didn't completely switch this, like we didn't switch the game on the taser game, right? They play us to the left so scandalous. And with me being in social work and understanding this game, like how people jump through hoops to get help from the system, right? They jump through hoops to get their children on social security so they can get that check in the system, right? And then their kids end up in foster care, and they do these numbers about the people they're going to end up in prison based off of the kids that end up on social security for ADHD and autism and ADD and shit like that. And because they create these numbers based off of these kids that are in the system because mom or dad or who the fuck ever felt like, oh, I needed the help, I needed the check. This is how they say yo ass is going to jail or yo ass is dying today. They already decided. They've already decided. And it's from birth. But we have to be aware of what's going on. This is why this shit is irritating me, because it's deeper than just the fact that he hopped out the car and murdered this baby. It's deeper than that. The fact that she was even there is a problem. How did she get there? And why is it okay that she was there? Why is it okay that we said, fuck due process, fuck going to trial, fuck getting arrested, fuck even getting your rights read to you? If you look like a threat, bitch, neutralize the motherfucker. How did we adopt that mindset? So if y'all think that I'm trying to make this, it's a cop thing or it's a woman thing, or we trying to, we trying to justify this shit because women try to stick together. Fuck all that. Let's really talk about the numbers here, because they killing y'all too, baby. They killing you too. Some of y'all motherfuckers was on Ritalin too because your mama wanted a check. Tell the truth. And based off of them numbers, they said you were gonna go to jail. Tell the truth. How many of y'all been to jail? How many of y'all been arrested for just looking black? Tell the truth. How many of y'all were met with force that was unwarranted? That's the conversation we need to be having.
Well, I live in Chicago, so I fit into a lot of that.
Never had that chance.
No, no,
uh,
but I've definitely been arrested for nothing. That's for sure.
Bay Butter News. I have a friend right here listening with me, and he's the Social Security administrator who processes claims. Bianca, he says you are not lying. Coffee Nino.
Yeah, I know she's not lying too. I know that stuff is done too. They make a lot of plans off of that stuff. But like I said, in this particular situation, cop is gonna be fine. I don't think it's gonna be enough public outrage that something's really gonna happen to this cop. I don't even think that's really gonna even come to the table like that. I really just don't believe it. And then it's one dead nigga. So, and the nigga was a kid, because you know what I'm saying, because that's how this stuff is gonna be viewed. It really ain't that big of a deal. And then the if the mother gets in trouble, then you got you go then we got to look into the system. How did the woman be in charge of all these kids and stuff like that? It's so much stuff going on right here that nobody's gonna want to deal with it. So ain't nothing gonna happen to anybody. At least that's my personal belief. Unless we actually have some real public pressure, which I just don't believe the public gonna give, ain't nothing gonna happen. This is an open and shut case. Basically, one of those things is thrown away because nobody really cares. The mother ain't gonna do enough about it because she would
She's
already
gonna
have
get
her child.
paid. She's
But no,
gonna
no,
get
no,
paid.
no, no, no. No, I ain't saying the mother gonna get paid. What I'm saying is the mother don't care that much about her daughter because she's there in the first place. And we see if that's the daddy on film, we see what kind of daddy he is. He being a punk because he waiting on stuff to happen and then trying to kick at people when the cops are there when he feel like ain't nothing happen to him either. So even if that's not his actual character, he definitely misrepresented himself in a very poor fashion. So what I'm saying is, it ain't enough here that somebody's gonna actually care and do anything about this. This is just one dead nigga who probably gonna get buried by I don't know who buried people when won't nobody pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But obviously these parents ain't finna pay for it, so nobody cares. This is that's how this is gonna be treated. This is just a case of nobody cares.
And it's pretty sad.
Yeah, this is a tough. Yeah, this is tough
It
anyway.
was
You
tough.
cut it.
It was tough. It was tough to look at, but at the end of the day, I was like, wow, we've gotten this far so low after all the civil rights activists that fought for equality and freedom. This is how far we have fallen. So we might as well not even. I didn't even have tried it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
This whole conversation is a tough
It's
one.
depressing.
Yeah, because either way you look at it, the little girl died.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't think that she should have died. Like I said earlier, had the
I don't
police
think she
not
should
been
have
there,
died, but
and she poked up, baby. Oh well, hey, listen, you was fucking with the wrong one, right? But because the police were there and this case happened, now she's tragically lost her life, and this is sad because her life was just getting started, and it seems like she had a lot of adults in her life fucking her life up, putting her down the path to this, to what
destruction.
ultimately led to her destruction, right? Right. Um, so how about this? Let's take a step to the left, and though it's in the same vein of conversation, how do y'all feel about this Chauvin verdict, the trial, and what do you think that the sentence will be in this case? Also, I do want to bring up how they try to throw Maxine Waters under the bus in regards to appeal, saying that she made quote unquote threats, and it's pretty much grounds for an appeal.
I think that he got what he deserved because if that were me and I was that officer and I had George Floyd, I would have said, "Hey, let me get a paddy whack. After I got him in cuffs, leave him in the back of the car, process my paperwork, call a paddy wagon, and get him to the precinct to get processed." I'm looking at if something like that happens to me, I'm looking at losing my career. I'm looking at losing my freedom. I'm looking at going to prison. I'm looking at all I worked hard for going down the drain in that moment. So even if George Floyd was acting a fool, you still treat him as a human being with respect, even though he's a criminal or he did or somewhat of a criminal act. We'll find out in the courts. I'm not gonna risk putting he's unarmed, he's handcuffed already. Just put him in the back, put him in a paddy wagon, like the cops always do. Put him in the back of the paddy wagon and keep going. Even if he's struggling and stuff like that. If he's struggling like that, leave him in the car. Put him in some leg irons. But to literally lean on that guy's neck, cutting off his windpipe, no, no, no. And I'm happy that he was convicted because it makes all the ones that are actually doing their job look bad. Because next time, when let's say an officer has to pull over somebody and that guy pulls out a gun and starts firing, it's because of that jackass. And I have friends that are police officers. They tell me the same thing. It's because of him and his actions that make us all look bad. So if that were me, like I said, I'm not risking my career and my livelihood and my freedom for a fool. And I'm not gonna do anything to hurt my reputation, to hurt my stance, and to hurt the people that I'm sworn to serve. That's all I gotta say.
And that was powerful. Okay. So my take is I think that people are celebrating too soon. Just because he's guilty does not it doesn't mean anything until he's sentenced. So everybody's throwing parties and on Facebook acting a fool like we haven't been here before. I mean, we can always go back to Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times. And that cop served what, 6 years, Roger? So let's not act like just because he's guilty, that means he's going to get 50 years or 40 years. We don't know
I'll
yet.
be back,
He's
guys.
protected right now. Right now, he's protected. So all this celebrating, all this bullshit I'm seeing on Facebook, it's too premature because we still got to wait another 3 weeks before we even know his fate. And like I said, we all watched Laquan McDonald get shot 16 times, even when he was on the ground. You could see the bullets flying, right? And the officer was found guilty, right? Everybody started celebrating the cabbage patch, but the man served 6 years. So how did we win? How did we win? So everybody needs to be cool until we know his fate. Because right now, he could get the minimum. He
The
could.
the way the way that white man looked when they said that nigga that when they was like, yeah, this nigga's guilty. He looked like, huh? But y'all know I'm white, right?
Yep. True.
The, what the fuck you mean? I already had a conversation with the judge. Fuck you mean I'm guilty? Huh? Like, yeah, y'all ain't supposed to do me like this. So it do really make me trip
Unintentional
out.
though.
Yeah, it really makes me
Unintentional
trip
murder.
out at how he thinks everything is finna go. Like they finna come in and be like, yeah, we're gonna give him 5 years probation. You have a good day. Click and slam the gavel and get the fuck up out of here. I'm waiting for some bullshit to happen.
We've seen the bullshit before, haven't we? Haven't we seen the bullshit before? We have. So I don't know why people are celebrating because what he did to George Floyd was not unintentional. He meant that. He knew Floyd. Let's not act like they didn't know each other, right? Let's not act like he didn't have his hands in his pocket with his eyebrow like he was the rock. Let's not act like we didn't see that. But yet it's unintentional murder. There's a difference. So it's like they're dumbing down what he did. We all watched him get murdered on TV, yet unintentional murder. That's like a slap in the face, bro. Because if he was white and the cop was black, kneeling like that, chilling with his hands in his pocket, it would have been open and shut case. We wouldn't be waiting a year for justice. So if it took us this long just to find this man guilty, do you honestly think they're gonna give him 40 years? Because we all watched it on tape. It was right there. But it took us a year just to get a guilty verdict, right? Why? Why? When we know that if it was reversed, it would have been done overnight. Guilty. Life in prison. Come on, guys. So until we get his fate, I'm not celebrating anything. I think we're doing this super mature. Like I said, Roger, we know what happened with Laquan. We've seen it on TV, and yet his cop got 6 years. He didn't even get a year per bullet. 16 shots, and the cop got 6 years. So come on now. We're celebrating too early, y'all. We're celebrating too early.
Well, this is why I gotta say that you sound brilliant right about now, cause I ain't saying nothing about this, cause my thing is why are we even care until he actually gets sentenced? And I mean, I knew he was gonna be found guilty, cause I didn't pay attention to the trial. I'm just being honest, because number one, he knew the guy, so you can't say it wasn't a murder if he knows the guy. So to let him off the hook would just be crazy. Plus, it was on camera. Plus, it was a national news story. Too many people watching. So I knew he was going to be found guilty. That part I wasn't worried about. Now, my thing is the cop's reaction to being found guilty, because he was the last mofo to know that he was going to end up with a guilty plea. Because, yeah, he was expecting his white privilege to guide him through. That was clearly on his face at the time of sentences. But my thing is like, okay, yeah, he guilty, but the way they do stuff, yeah, and then they probably, well, we're gonna take into account that he's probably served in the military, and I'm just guessing that he served in the military because he's a cop, because most cops have served in the military, to my understanding. So they're gonna give him, he gave good service for X amount of years and all that. I'm not expecting no big old sentence on this dude. You know what I'm saying? My perception of policing in America, not just one place, but just America in general, kill you a nigga, you might get promoted. So I'm not expecting some huge sentence. It'd be cool if you get it, but I'm not expecting it. I know there's a lot of reasons why he should get a big sentence, but I'm not gonna be surprised if they say suspended sentence. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. You know what I'm saying? We done been down this road far too many times. So yeah, I don't even see a point why people care that he got a guilty verdict without knowing what that sentence is. To me, it's been way too early to speak on it. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable because you know what? Like people are still mad about OJ, so they doing little slick shit just to make sure that they was that they white friends was off and niggas get extra penalties. These motherfuckers is still mad about OJ. Let me say that again. Still fucking mad. Have you seen white people maybe have conversation? Oh yeah, just like with OJ, nigga. Nigga, I was a kid when that shit happened. You bringing that shit up still? Oh, okay.
You telling the truth, brother. Because
Right.
I didn't talk to the folks and they didn't say it to me. And you know, OJ is guilty, right?
But you see how they got OJ when when he sold tried to steal his own stuff back and they put him in how long was he in prison? 8, 9 years? That was
Nigga,
like they did that on purpose because they
that
still
nigga got
mad
some
about that.
real time for getting his shit back.
Yeah.
Exactly. So think about that. So some of that time was like, we know you killed Nicole. Let's not act like he got 8 years instead of his own shit, but just because, I mean, and then think about this. Chauvin doesn't have a record. Somebody said online, they take that into account when they're giving you a sentence, your criminal record, which he has none. So if they think he's gonna get 40 years, let's bet $1,000. He's not getting the max. He will
That
not.
nigga,
He
he's
won't.
going to get he's going to
He'll be
get
lucky if he
whatever
gets
the
like five
minimum,
years, 10 years.
whatever the
I want to
minimum
go
he
on
can be
record
given, he's going to
by
get.
telling white folks the reason why OJ didn't
Go
go to
ahead,
jail
Bianca.
for killing Nicole is because of white folks.
Mark Furman,
Because if they
yes,
weren't terrible police officers and if they weren't trying to frame that man for a murder that you say he committed, then he probably would have went to jail for it. But because your hands was all in the evidence, because your ass was all in the evidence, he walked.
Mark Furman. Yeah, Mark
Right.
Furman is the one who single-handedly fucked that case up. Had Mark Furman
Period.
not did the stupid shit that he did, OJ would have been locked
Yep.
up from Dump Street. But
Mark
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 Furman is the
Furman
reason
was
So
he got.
puffy.
white
He was puffy.
supremacy is the reason why OJ walked. White
Oh,
He said
supremacy.
absolutely.
Puffy.
He
And at the
was.
end of,
Just like Puffy
he
was
got
all up
out.
in
So
your
at the end of the
video.
day,
Mark
they can get mad or they won't.
Yeah, just like Puffy was all up in your video, Mark Furman was all up in the evidence.
I mean, we love our black people. Well, we all know OJ did that shit. He was jealous. I mean, he
No, I don't
leaving the
know that.
glove there. I think
I
he
don't know
did.
that.
I
I
read
think he was
OJ book.
brilliant. He left a
OJ
glove that
said,
doesn't fit.
"If
That was
I
smart.
did it, if I did it," he had an
He did
imaginary
it.
friend that did it.
He
Hey,
did
I
it.
can make
Like
an
I said, he
argument
was real
against that.
jealous.
I don't know that OJ killed nobody.
He did it. He did
He,
that shit,
he
bro.
ain't
He
been
did it. He
convicted,
did it.
and I ain't putting it
No,
on.
because he did it. He did it smart. He got away with it. That man was jealous of her and Ronald Goldman's relationship. He was a jealous man. Everybody can prove that. So
Maybe
let's
he
not act like he
was.
didn't cut
Maybe
her
he was.
like a piece of
First off,
steak.
do
So
you
okay,
know how many?
Houdini
Do
did it
you
then.
know how
Houdini
many
killed him.
yards OJ rushed? We ain't finna insult this man's legacy. He was falsely accused and acquitted.
No, okay, okay, he didn't do it. OJ didn't do it. It was a ghost. The ghost did it
Nigga, did
and
the
left a
glove
glove
fit?
that didn't
No,
fit. That
you
was
must have
brilliant.
quit.
Hey
No, but
man.
he was smart with his. I'm sure he consulted people on how to kill and get away with it. He got away with it. Like I said, I mean, you know, if you leave a glove that don't fit, that's going to be key evidence,
You,
right? They're going to test it for DNA. They're
you
going
know
to see
what?
if it fits. He was smart. He
You
thought of
know
this
what,
murder.
Daphne?
He thought
This
good. He
this
thought
this one I'm
good.
gonna have to
He
do
did
on
it.
this one.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go with Mark Furman and believe that there just was not enough evidence, which is why he tried to do what he did.
Okay.
So if Mark Furman, the
I
trained
know. Let me
detective,
shut up or he
believed that there
find my
was,
ass. Cut my throat.
I'm just saying, if Mark Furman, the trained detective, did not believe that there was enough evidence to convict him, I got to say, hey, he might just have a point.
Hey, OJ
No,
gonna get on
you
this panel.
good.
Hey, OJ gonna get on this panel and say, Daphne, cut it out. Literally, cut it out.
That nigga, he gonna at you in his tweets, nigga. You know that nigga is active on
I
Twitter,
know,
nigga.
right?
He be in there getting on.
That was
Him and
cutthroat, Daphne. That was real cutthroat.
he be out there on the golf course with them old leather faced white women, tweeting his heart out, nigga. He's living his best life, nigga.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have
Hey,
to accept the fact that OJ was acquitted and deal with it from there. That's all I can do as a black man.
hey, hold on. He said, say Kobe. He said, say Kobe and see if she loses it. What does he mean by that?
Um,
What does he mean?
he probably talking about Bianca.
I know he ain't trying to say Kobe. Okay, no, because Kobe, I love Kobe, so I'm gonna lose it too. I want to
Not
know
they
what he
might
meant by that.
they
Is he
might
trying to
they
say
might
Kobe?
they might mean that the people saying Kobe raped that girl. It
Yeah,
might.
Kobe
No, he
raped that
didn't.
girl,
No, he didn't. Nope.
and
No, he
I don't
didn't.
think he was talking about
Let me
you.
tell
I
you what
think he was
happened.
talking about Bianca
Nope.
because
No.
Bianca is
No, no, no.
adamant that
I'm
he
about to
did it.
lose it. I love Kobe. He
I
look,
mean, but
Kobe
why
did
would
not
he think
rape that
that he
girl.
has
She
the
knew Kobe
reach
was
to touch
coming.
me emotionally? Fuck out of here.
Okay, Bianca. Okay, Bianca. Bianca. You believe Kobe did it for real?
I read the transcripts. I've had several conversations about this, and yeah, I do.
Okay,
And
so let
I've
me
had
ask you
Maestro,
this.
this
I've
is
had
your
this
Then
fault. I just want
why
to
were
conversation.
put
the
that out there.
why were the oh, hold on, Bianca. Why were her panties in, why didn't they not use that in court? They said that she had three different types of semen in her panties that were fresh. Okay? I've never in my life heard of a rape victim getting raped and then getting two more dicks put in her. Never in my life have heard of that. So you're
Mm.
telling me rape victims, is that something like where they feel bad that they got raped that they should go get more dick? Because you can't ignore evidence, Bianca. Her panties, and they didn't want to use it in court because they said they didn't want to defame her character. Come on now, Bianca. You said you're all about
Actually,
facts.
what the
How about I'll prove
evidence
that?
and
Did you?
what I read in the transcripts actually was that
Uh huh.
she went to her exam in underwear that she didn't experience the assault in. That now the underwear that she had the assault in, she gave up
Oh,
as
okay. Yeah.
evidence. Her
Right.
clothes and her
Right.
underwear, she gave that to the detective as evidence. The underwear she wore to the exam, they took that underwear. She said that it was dirty underwear that she got out of her hamper. That particular underwear had the
Okay.
semen that was in her and then the semen from whomever else.
So
So
she been freaky.
Bianca, if that girl was truly raped, she wouldn't have. If that woman was truly raped, she wouldn't have made it a civil case. Civil is where you can, settle out of court and get a big check. Because right after she got the check, she got her titties done. I'm not going to sit up here and say that this woman was a victim because she didn't move like a victim. If somebody raped me, truly raped me, we're going on. I'm gonna try to ruin your career because I got the proof and you did it. I'm not gonna say let's settle in court for a fat ass check and then I'm gonna get new titties because I'm a victim. No, she knew Kobe was there. She thought about how am I going to get a check, and she got it. She knew that Kobe would settle because at that time he was in the peak of his
she
career.
was
So he
also
had to settle,
she came from a family of money.
huh?
She didn't need Kobe's money. Her father has private jets and
Girl,
everything. So
and
she comes
and
from money.
sometimes daddies
She didn't
cut
need money.
their kids off too. Do we know? Do we know if daddy was giving her money? Because if that was the case, she
Daddy
wouldn't have
didn't
been
cut her
working,
off
honey.
when
She
they
wouldn't have been working.
interviewed her. They interviewed her at her parents' house. So her father was present for the whole thing.
Okay, so did she have a job? Yes or no, ma'am?
Yeah, she had a job.
Yes or no? Did the rape victim? Okay, so why you just talk about jets and money and all that shit? Why
No,
would
I'm
daddy
saying she
make her
came
Take it
from
down,
work?
money.
take
Because
it
that
down
means
a
she had
dash.
to get her
Came,
own
no,
money.
what
Keep
Come
I'm
on,
keep it
Bianca.
saying
fasting.
is
Take it down.
what
Take
I'm
it down a
Come on.
notch
saying is
faster.
No, because I love
money
Kobe.
wasn't the
I love Kobe.
motivation. She
She
comes
sounds
from
like Gail
money.
King right
And
now.
if we know anything to be true about
Oh,
Caucasians,
but
their
she still
money's
had
a
to
little
work.
bit different than our money.
Oh, she knew Kobe was there. He was a star. She had sex with
This
him.
nigga said
Kobe
Gail
wasn't gonna
King.
keep her around. She knew Kobe was married. It's an easy hustle. It's an easy hustle. I don't believe when I hear that her panties had other semen and it was fresh, fresh Bianca, not old but fresh. Rape victims don't go and get two other men to nut in them. I've never heard of that. So until you can prove me wrong on that, she wanted the check. Daddy's money is not being given to her because she has to work. If she was rich like a Paris Hilton, she wouldn't be working. The money's already flowing, right? So don't say it
I
wasn't
mean,
money motivated because
Bill
she
Gates'
settled.
children work.
But listen to me, Bianca. If it wasn't money motivated, why did she make it a civil case and not a criminal, honey buns? Why? Criminal, that will make sure Kobe is done. So he can never rape someone. Civil is when it's not a big deal, but I want to check. Come on, Bianca, baby. You
The
know
case
this.
was
Come
dismissed
on,
without
boo.
prejudice because she refused to
Okay.
testify due to death threats. So it wasn't
Oh,
like it
okay.
was
That's what it was.
dismissed
Then she
because
got
he
new
was
breasts.
found
You're right.
not guilty. It
You're
was
right.
dismissed without prejudice because she refused to testify due to death threats. Now, my thing is
Okay,
this:
so after
reading all of the evidence and reading what Kobe said out of his own mouth is the reason why I feel how I feel about it. And I mean, it is what it is. I feel how I feel about it. And that's okay.
Okay, so why do you think she got new breasts after it settled? After that happened, why do you think she wouldn't got new breasts when she could have got the new breasts before with daddy's money? Explain that, honey
I
buns.
have no
Because if I got
idea.
raped, I'm not gonna get new titties and smile for camera.
I,
Oh,
I,
okay, okay, gotcha, gotcha. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying, I
Oh
don't think he
hell
raped her.
no.
all rape victims
I think she
handle
wanted the check.
things differently, so I don't
She
really
got the check.
know. I don't really
Yeah,
Well,
you're
know.
right. You're right.
that was
Rape victims,
interesting.
some of them they go and sleep with two more men and let them nut. You're right. That's a different rape victim. I never heard of that kind. That's
I mean,
crazy. I mean,
if that's what you read, I didn't read that, but if that's what you
okay,
read,
I didn't say that.
you
I
know.
said she had different semen in her panties that was fresh. That is what the guy said. They didn't use her panties in court because they did not want to defame her character. What I'm saying is, if there was two other types of semen other than Kobe's in her panties, that means that she was doing something to get nutted in. That's how the nut goes into the panties, correct or incorrect? What I'm saying
Yeah,
is, if
but
you
I
see
mean,
panties with
when
three
you're
different types of
looking at
semen, come
sexual
on, Queen.
assault, I'm not looking at the number of semen. We're looking at the condition of the vagina when she goes to have the exam to see if there's any trauma to it. And, and then we also take, samples for DNA and things like that. So
So
when
Mm-hmm.
she went, if you read the transcripts, when she went, there were contusions and things of that nature, like several
That means rough
hundred
sex.
of
Uh huh.
them.
Uh huh.
Several hundred of them. That means
Gotcha.
like
Okay.
scratches and
Okay.
things of that nature. There were several hundred of them in the vaginal region, tears and things of that nature. So,
But she said more
um,
people than Kobe. Correct or incorrect? Correct or
I'm
incorrect?
sorry.
If she had three traces of semen, that means that Kobe has three different types of semen in him. I never heard of that.
They
That's a
they didn't
phenomenon.
find the semen in her. They found it on the underwear that she wore to the
Correct.
exam. They didn't find it in
Meaning
her.
that's what flowed out. That's what I didn't say it was in her, Queen. I said on the panties. Come on now. You know I said the panties,
Yeah,
so
girl.
but
Come
so
on.
see,
so
but we
Come
have to
on
be
now.
clear here because a rape kit is going to show what's in her and what's also on the underwear.
Hmm.
so are
Like I
you
said,
saying
if
that the
Kobe,
rape
if
kit did not
Kobe,
have three
if
different
he raped
semen
that girl,
inside of her? There was
Kobe would
only
No,
be
there
three
in,
was
in
panties.
not three
jail.
different semen inside of her. That's what I'm
It was in
saying.
her
The
panties.
semen, what
It
you're
was in her
saying
panties.
is they found another semen sample on her underwear, not in her.
Samples with an S, Queen. With an S. Samples. Not sample.
So
Samples.
so
And she could have went
so
home and dushed and got all of it out, right?
let
But to say the
oh
panties.
wow. So let okay,
No,
so
because
let's
I
ask
don't like
questions.
that.
Oh no, no, I understand. I just got questions. I just want got questions. They need answers. So they found it in her panties. So let's assume uh the best case scenario,
Oh
maybe
goodness.
she hadn't washed these panties. Um are we saying that it's the potential that these men weren't in a sequence that was fairly close of her fucking Kobe?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you read the transcripts, all of
Well,
this
fresh.
stuff is illicitly explained in the transcripts. Like they're very specific in these transcripts. That's why I said, like, you really just got to read the transcripts for yourself and come up with your own conclusion. But I mean, between what I read in those
So you're
transcripts,
you're
what was
you're
in the
telling me she
evidence, and what that man said out his own mouth,
what he said in his own mouth?
he
I raped her
basically said that he
because he
he
wouldn't have
did
said it again.
what he said out his own mouth is, oh man, all I did was what he said,
Huh?
what
Keep
Shaq
going.
do to these bitches. This is
Well,
why
no.
him and Shaq was beefing.
So that was his second statement. He did issue an apology. That apology was um, mandated via whatever he signed, whatever document. He did say
Hmm.
some stupid shit after the fact. Yeah, that was because he threw Shaq under the bus. He was like,
He
basically,
threw
I
Shaq
feel
under
like
the bus to the detectives when they were questioning him.
yeah. So I mean, he threw Shaq under the bus after the fact, but I don't see that as an
Oh, you
admission.
should read the transcripts.
I
You should
read the
read the
transcripts a
transcript.
while ago.
Okay.
He said the slick shit, and I don't see that as a mission. He did make an apology, but that apology was
Did
based
did
on
did you read where he threw the towel, excuse me, the t-shirt that he wiped his dick off with? Did you read that he threw that in the detective's face?
I mean, he's a what 18, 19-year old celebrity. I that's
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't see
Hmm.
that. I don't
What
see that as
about the
being too
blood
far
all over
from
his shirt?
You're
Did
calling
you
me a
read about
rapist?
that?
He's mad.
The blood all over his shirt. What about that?
so again,
No.
sometimes shit happens like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not possible, right? My thing is sometimes shit happens where it be some blood on the shirt from
Rough
sex
sex.
Mm-hmm.
it go down.
Ain't no telling what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was
Mm-hmm.
young. She was
So
there. Ain't no telling. All I know is what they said about the panties, and that told me that don't sound like rape. Now y'all saying they could have been dirty. At the end of the day, if you're saying she stopped everything because of death threats, get the hell out of here. If your dad is rich, he can fly you to Switzerland. Get out of here with that. She's scared of the death threats, and you just said daddy was rich with jets. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not believing that. Your
Well,
name's
I'm
already
gonna
out
tell
there.
you
You might as
like
well finish
this.
it. They knew who she was. They
Daddy
knew who she
money
was.
was long.
So why stop
and
now?
Daddy money might have been long enough to get
Daddy's
somebody's
mommy could have protected her,
helicopter
right?
twinked with. So don't ever think for 1 second that shit goes away.
I ain't never heard of that. Okay, okay, so if you're rich like that, who's really gonna get that close to tweak with your jets? Okay, when does it happen? When has it happened? I'm listening. When does it happen?
Hey, listen,
I'm listening.
that man came
I ain't never
flying
heard
out
of
the
this.
sky for a
Let me try to
reason.
get Jay-Z's jet
Be
to come
it Big
down. I'm gonna try
Pharma,
it. At the end of the
be it
day,
Big
she didn't move like a
Pharma
victim.
or
She didn't move
Angry
like a
Father,
victim.
he came coming out that sky for a
And
reason.
I
Don't
find
think
it
he
funny
died for
how
just
I
cause
find it
just
funny
cause it
when
was
he
foggy
died,
outside.
they try to
Well,
call him a rapist.
let me
Oh,
ask
so
you
you're
this.
saying that they tweaked his helicopter? Come on now,
No,
Queen.
I'm
Come on
saying
now. 20
that.
years
Let
later,
me
oh,
ask you
let's
this.
kill
I'm
Kobe. We're
saying
Was it
mad.
that.
not enough? Was it not enough
No,
that
no.
he was declared innocent in the situation? Why does it
He
have
wasn't
to?
declared innocent. It was dismissed without prejudice. He wasn't declared
Okay, so
innocent.
but dismissed means he was innocent. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dismissed the
No,
case.
dismissed
But
without prejudice means that if
That
this
they can
person
bring it back.
decides to bring this up again, then we will revisit this. That does not mean that
Correct,
you are
but
innocent. That means that it's dismissed
doesn't mean you're
without
guilty
any
either.
judgment.
you are innocent until proven guilty. Therefore,
Facts.
he's innocent, right? And I'll
Facts.
take it a
Right.
step further. The case was dismissed, meaning they didn't have anything to go and push forward on. And I understand the dynamic of she didn't want to sit up and testify, but that's pretty much the standard for rape cases. Rape cases go on without the victim, quote unquote, victim testifying in a lot of cases, right? So
Very
I
true.
I
Yes, sir.
I get the
That
dynamic
when your
that
money long.
well, I get the dynamic of
Mm.
you saying that he did some shit, but at the point we're at now is dismissed. What more do we need to talk about?
Yeah, I didn't bring this shit up. I told you
Okay,
I don't care. I have
I'm
my
just saying.
opinion on it, and it
Hey,
is what it
but
is.
here,
I've been very
Donnie,
vocal about
but
how I
Donnie,
feel about it,
Donnie,
and it's
Gotcha.
okay.
Go
Like
ahead.
I'm. It is what it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I just feel how I feel about it. Now, does it take away from who he was, his legacy? I feel like he spent the rest of his life trying to make it right. So I give him that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
So let me ask you, how do you feel about Bill Cosby?
I feel like Bill Cosby where he needed to be.
Okay, so he did it too. All these
He did
women
what he did to
that's
that
saying
woman
that
in
he did it.
2004 that got his ass locked up. Yeah, he did. He had to.
So let me ask you this. Why is it so easy for them to lock up Bill Cosby off of no evidence? Because it happened, 30 years ago? But we're
No, it
still waiting
happened
for
in
Donald Trump to submit.
2004.
Hold
This
on.
is why you got to know exactly what you're talking about. Read the transcripts. He is in jail for raping a woman in 2004.
Oh,
Okay, so
I cut all the
yeah,
way
I
the
had
fuck
no
out.
idea.
Who went to jail
There,
for doing something in
That
2004?
no,
incident that he's
what
in
I'm
jail
saying is,
for, that incident he's in jail for happened in 2004.
Who's in jail?
Bill Cosby,
Bill
Bill
Oh, okay,
Cosby.
Cosby.
okay, Bill. Okay, what about him?
No, actually, does she think that he did it? And she said,
Um,
yes, he's where he needs to be.
yeah, I think he's a political prisoner, but
But what I'm saying
we gonna
is,
go into overtime for that
why
shit.
do our black women hold one man accountable? If he's black, like we're gonna drag him. But let's not forget, they're still waiting for Donald Trump's DNA to the rape in '95 when he raped that woman that he's denying.
I
The
hold
semen is still
Donald
on the
Trump
dress.
accountable
How
too.
come y'all don't attack that? But y'all will
I
attack
hold
a
Donald
Bill.
Trump
Well, you didn't
accountable
mention
too.
him.
You didn't
I just
ask me
did. So
about
what I'm
Donald
saying
Trump.
is, what I've
You asked me
seen is
about Bill
that, like,
Cosby. Now, if you
okay, but
ask me
listen,
about Donald Trump, I'll give you my opinion on Donald Trump. But you didn't ask me about Donald Trump. You asked me about
okay,
Bill Cosby. I feel
what's
like
your opinion on
all
Donald Trump?
rapists should be in jail.
Well, he
All
ran the
of
world
them.
for 4 years. Did you advocate? Did you call your senator and say, "Hey, he raped a woman in '95.
I
Where's
didn't
his
call my
DNA?"
senator about Bill Cosby.
But Bill Cosby is where he needs to be, right? Donald Trump ran the
He is where
world
he
for
need to
4
be.
years. Even
You
okay. So
asked
what I'm
me.
saying is
If
Donald
you didn't
Trump.
ask me, I wouldn't have
Listen to
never
me.
said nothing about Bill.
Listen. You said he's where he needs to be, but Donald Trump
He
was able
is.
to run the world for 4 years, even though that rape
I
case is
didn't
still
vote for him.
pending. and maybe
I
40
didn't vote
different.
for him.
You didn't have to vote for him. What I'm saying is, are you dragging him every day because he's not in jail yet? Bill's in jail, right? R. Kelly's in
I
jail,
don't drag
but
Bill
Donald
every
Trump is
day.
still out there, and he's not even the president.
I don't drag Bill every day.
You're not listening. Never mind. I said again, how come you're not dragging Trump? He's not where he needs to be. He's still out. He's a rapist, right?
I don't drag
Hope the same energy is
anybody.
the same as it would be for Bill.
The energy is the same for
Okay,
everybody. I
gotcha.
don't give
Gotcha.
energy to any of that shit. You asked me a question, so this is the only energy I'm going to give it when you ask. However, every day, I'm not giving that shit my energy. I'm just waiting for the chips to fall. Because what I understand is what's done in the dark is going to come to the light with everybody.
Well, since January 20th, he's been out living life, and this woman still needs his
He
DNA.
out
How
right
come
now,
nobody is
but
making it a
Donald
big
Trump
deal?
ain't got
He
many
raped that
more
woman.
days to live. Donald Trump ain't
Okay,
going to be alive much
gotcha.
longer. Wait
I
on
So
him.
don't
that
know
makes it right. He's still
the
a
way
rapist, right?
technology moving. That nigga might live for another 40, 50. Uh, he got access to
Yeah.
presidential secrets,
I mean,
nigga.
look,
He might put himself in a chamber.
Now Donald trying to come after the big machine. They ain't gonna let that happen. They're gonna take his ass up out of there. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you got to go. Doing too much." Plus, they got
Mhm.
what's her name? Ghislaine. She about
Oh,
to start
Ghislaine,
singing. All
Ghislaine
them folks
Maxwell.
going to jail.
So
All them folks
one of the
going to
things,
jail.
and this is funny because this is a conversation that I had with my girl because my girl is British, right? The that documentary came out, and one of the conversations that they were having is one of the royals, a couple of the royals, was taking their
Yes.
ass out to that pedophile island. And when the conversation became, "Hey, listen, we need to ask you some questions," the UK said, "Fuck you, no, you don't."
Mm-hmm. Because that's how they roll. Because they've been doing that nasty ass shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
All that shit,
that's some
heads
freak
are
shit.
gonna roll. Heads are gonna roll. Let's wait on it as I roll my weed.
Yeah, you smoking that good kush, I can tell.
Mm-hmm. And I ain't started yet.
Nigga, you didn't start yet, nigga. What you had an edible?
I've been making edibles all week.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, honestly, I'm finna wrap this shit up because the nigga is tired. I got to get up in the morning.
dang. He said black women are the real Karens. What does he mean by that?
Who
I don't
knows? Who
know.
cares?
It's
He's
not even
so.
considered a
Who
joke.
Cortez
said that? Hold on.
Cortez Smith. I just want him to
Not
address that before you get off. What does he mean by that?
he. All right, well, you got till the nigga get off. I'm gonna let y'all get y'all final statement,
Dang. He said facts.
and
Klan
y'all can run it
women.
on off. But I don't see the nigga jumping
I
off.
bet she has a
Jump off.
Damn.
Jeffrey
Okay.
Dahmer picture in her bedroom.
Mm.
These guys in these comments, you can tell that they have dry
They are
dick
attacking.
syndrome. Hold on. Let me address this. You guys in these comments, y'all got
Okay.
dry dick syndrome. I can tell you don't get no ass. And I can tell this because you all are down there stroking each other's sausages like it's going out of fucking style. Matter of fact, you're cooking the sausage, you stroking it so fast. I could smell the sausage burning. Slow down. Don't stroke it that fast. Don't do it that fast. Slow down. Hold on. All right.
All right. So I guess that was one final statement down. Daphne, you got your final statement.
No, this was a good conversation. Bianca, like I said, we can always agree to disagree. I love having conversations with you, Donnie. Thank you. Roger, you cool. Like I said, at the end of the day, we'll wait and see, how this plays out with Mikhail. We'll wait and see how it plays out with uh Shavin, whatever, however you say his name, and we'll just wait. But at the end of the day, we need to do better with raising our kids or being mentor to these kids who don't have parents. That's why I got into social services so I can help. And we need to stop downing each other because together we're a force. If we all came together instead of talking about each other, and like I said, we don't need to be against each other. We already got that going for us every day, right? So we need to agree to disagree and move forward. We don't got to call the names and all that. That's childish. Let's be adults here. If you don't agree with something I say, fine. But I'm not going to call you a name. I did that in my teens. I learned. So if you're asking people to treat you with respect, give it out too. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're not going to always agree. But if we all came together and we actually took the time to seek the knowledge, we'll be a force to be reckoned with. They're already scared of us just because of our color, right? So at the end of the day, we just all need to come together, and we just need to understand that the system is never going to be with us. It's always going to be against us. And every time we're loud and crazy, that's just feeding their judgment on us already. We're loud, we're ghetto, we're criminals. We didn't graduate high school. They already got that on us. So why should we be talking like this to each other when we already hear it every day? So that's all. Things done.
Hey, much
I got to
appreciated.
work on a
So
paper for my.
for your what? For you get another degree? You gonna have a PhD soon?
Actually, yeah,
Um,
I'm actually 3 months away from my second master's degree in life coaching. So, like I said, I got
ooh,
plans for myself. I'm trying to help people.
congrats! You could be the next
Um,
Derek Jackson.
thank you.
I
He said, "Hell
believe
no. That's why
that.
you are allegedly single." And hey, who's single? Hey, Cortez, I'm not single. Hey, Buns, I've been with my
It,
husband 11 years, bro. I hope you're not talking about me.
anyway,
I have a black man that I
anyway.
love, the head of my
So
household.
Roger, I think Roger's asleep. I hit mute on his ass a while ago. So if you are up and awake, by all means, come and interrupt me for your final statement. But yeah, ultimately, my position on it is I think the little girl should have been popped. Had I pulled up to the scene as the cop, she'd have been pop fucking with me. But I do see it as a tragic scenario because she is a little girl. The cop didn't know that. The cop, saw some big bodies doing all this shit and a chick lunging. So, in my opinion, she'd have been popped, right? She should have been popped. It was the right thing to do. But I blame this situation on the mother. Kind of goes without saying, if the mother had her shit together, the little girl would have been in a foster home to begin with. And then you have to also look at the foster home and the father. These two people failed this little girl entirely. So the lineage here plays a gigantic factor in why this kid is fucked up in the ground, and basically a hashtag at this moment. It's tragic, it's sad, it's everything else. But at the same time, as a adult male who's lived 34 years, you don't do shit like that in front of the police and expect to live. So, it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and end the goddamn show. Uh, you commenters, I thank y'all for showing up, tuning in, harassing the panelists. Next time y'all hop on by any means. We love
If
y'all
you
coming
got the
on to
heart.
give us giving us different points of view so you can argue with these crazy ass ladies I got on the panel. But you know, at the end of the day, I ain't shit, and guess what? You ain't shit for watching. Have a lovely evening.